Get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 203-year time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. The band is back together, boys.
Yes.
Good to see you guys.
See you. Yeah, see all
Carey
of you.
fresh back from San Francisco.
Yeah. NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, you attended the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Just sitting there with Shaq and Barkley.
Rubbing elbows with the celebs.
They're way down there. They're way up high. Yeah.
So, Carey, we talked about this yesterday. There was a lot of criticism for the NBA All-Star Game from the players. A lot of them voiced their displeasure about the stoppages. Draymond Green added that he didn't like that the Rising Stars were playing already on that Sunday night. You were there. You were in attendance. You went with your son. You took your son out there.
Yeah.
Did you have a better experience live than what they talked about?
So the format, in my opinion, I'm okay with the format. I actually think, the four teams, I would actually like to see, the world team versus, the All-Stars. There's enough international players. I think that would be more competitive if they did that as two teams, set aside the best players, and then you might have a couple of players that are not international that have to be on the international team, depending on how the breakdown goes. But I think that would be a better setup. I didn't have an issue with the four teams. I did have an issue with the stoppage, the constant. It wasn't real basketball. And I heard what Draymond said, they ruined the game. And Chuck says, well, no, y'all ruined the game because y'all don't compete.
Yeah.
And I think he's not wrong. If you watch these guys playing basketball in the summer, they all go out to UCLA. They are playing basketball. They are going hard. They are giving great effort. What you see on All-Star Weekend is the watered-down LA Fitness version of guys that are 50, 45, my age, years old, still trying to just get a good run up and down. Just open your lungs up a little bit.
Yeah.
Get going up and down the court just
Something
a little
more
bit.
fun than the treadmill.
Three-point line to three-point line, not baseline to base. What do I need to do all that for? I'm going to stop right here and shoot a three. And so that's what you're getting. And it is and people will say I'm a hater. And I'll take that because I do hate on a lot of things. Mizzou football, I hate.
What?
People say I hate.
Mizzou basketball.
Mizzou basketball.
Mizzou
Actually, they did play a good game the other night when I was watching. They played great defense. I will give them that. But people say I'm a hater. But LeBron James is at fault for this. This is his fault. He is the most athletic, God-gifted, talented, top 3 player of all time, but unwilling to actually exert great effort in scenarios like this, and he made it okay. And the younger generation that has followed behind him, Kobe Bryant got slapped in the face, broke his nose in an All-Star game. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And Dwayne Wade's like, oh, hell. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It used to be extremely competitive. And now, because LeBron is not extremely competitive in these scenarios, why should anybody else? If you're the lead dog, if you're the one that everyone looks to, when Kobe was there, it was extremely competitive. When Michael Jordan was there, it was extremely competitive. When LeBron is there, it's not as competitive. And it belongs to him because he is the leader of this generation. And the rest of the guys just kind of follow suit if he ain't going to compete, what the hell I need to compete for? Mm-hmm. If the best player isn't going to go out there and play great defense and play hard and do all of those things, well, why the hell do I need to? And so it falls in his lap. And then, you had the whole thing where he didn't even play this weekend.
Yeah.
Which was frustrating and unfortunate. If you knew you weren't going to play or if you knew you couldn't, you probably should have said something sooner to give one of these younger guys, one of these other guys, you've been in this 20-plus times,
The NBA told him not to say a word.
That's ridiculous.
I guarantee it.
It's ridiculous.
Don't you say a word.
Well,
we're going to sell all these people on the fact that you're going to be here.
I'm sure your son wanted to watch LeBron play.
I'm sure he did. He wanted to watch Steph Curry play. He didn't care about LeBron.
I like that kid.
He's smart. I raised him, Jamie. Raised him right.
Yeah. This might be crazy to say. Do you think the league is better off when LeBron retires? I know I think it's crazy to say, but
who's going to take over? I think to Carey's point, do you have somebody that is willing to step up and
different?
Be ultra competitive, or is is LeBron just the face of kind of the new NBA athlete, the new basketball athlete? And it's not even new anymore because it's been in the league a while. But
there's no fixing this, guys. By the way, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There's no fixing this, and I'll tell you, it's not just the NBA. The NHL is just as guilty with their all-star format.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, the Four Nations, that's different.
That's fun.
That's
Who
different.
doesn't? Why is it? Why? Because they're competing.
Because there's a reason.
They actually care.
But there's a reason to compete. They're playing for their country, right? Where is you got your volume on again, Carey?
I haven't even been here, man. It's my fault.
But when you go to the basketball, or you go to now pro football, which is not their fault. I mean, who the hell would want to play the line of scrimmage in a Pro Bowl game? I ain't up for that. So that league cannot do it.
Correct.
Well, the NBA doesn't want to do it. The NHL players kind of sort of do it for the MLB, whatever. You play an inning and a half or two, whatever it is, and you're done there. I just don't think there's any correcting the all-star format for the four major sports. I just don't think there is. I think it is what it is. You try to put on the biggest spectacle you can, and you let it ride.
Yeah.
Now, hockey's fortunate because they have this Four Nations, and next year they'll have the Olympics as well, to where you're like, okay. So basketball also has the Olympics, which was fun to watch that as well. But until you have something that matters, but this generation of athlete, all four sports, is just going to be like, nah.
It used to matter to have pride. Like, it used to be.
Oh, I agree.
It used to be, I'm better than you, and this is my chance to show the entire world on a stage where all of the great players are here, and you can't stop me. And then the other person's like, yes, I can.
But Carey, it's the money. It's the money that's changed it for all sports. It's the money, because when you had two players, let's go back to the NHL All-Star Game in the 80s. You had two guys making like $85,000 a year playing in the All-Star Game. It wasn't about the money.
Right.
It was about, I'm better than you. Yeah. Our conference is better than your conference, whatever's. And same with basketball. Like, those guys were making good money for the times,
right,
but it wasn't $50 million a year.
Correct.
So for the kid now to get out of bed in the morning and to go play a game that means nothing, that pays him nothing, I mean, that's just too much to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it was, so like the Rising Stars team, and I know you said Draymond didn't like the fact that they didn't, well, there are not enough stars, all-stars to field four teams. But when they were about to lose that game, they started playing harder. Like, they actually, I mean, they fouled the hell out of Kevin Durant. They didn't call it. I mean, slapped his whole arm. Ball went out of bounds. They're like, what the hell are we doing? But they actually tried to play harder. And I would have liked to have seen those guys. Now, they aren't nearly as talented as, KD and Steph and Kyrie and that whole team that they had, James Harden. But they actually put forth effort, which made it more competitive. Because if you just go out there and lay down and just say, do whatever you want to do, it's not going to work.
Well, this speaks to your bigger point, though, about, like, why aren't these young guys
I would have been trying to win,
showcase what they can do?
Man, I would have been out there. They would have been upset with me because I'm trying to embarrass you.
Yeah.
You don't want to play?
Make your name, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to embarrass you. And then I thought it was funny because Dalton Connect, the Los Angeles Lakers, was like, I can't wait to go against LeBron. And then LeBron doesn't play. Like, he was probably, like, he might have been, like, ready to go at him on that stage and say, y'all tried to trade me away, and here I am. I'm going to kill you out here. I'm going to give you the business. Yeah. And LeBron, unfortunately, didn't play. He's like, I'll get to see him in practice. Nobody gets to see that. Right? We want to see it live and in person.
But the problem that the NBA has, and I'll just keep kicking dust on the NBA here just because I like to. You look at guys like James Harden, Kevin Durant, and even some of the biggest names in big games, and they look like they don't care. They play like they don't care. They don't hustle back down the floor to play defense. They kind of trot back, and then they're late to the game, but that's okay. Just give me the ball back so I can shoot my three. They're all guilty. Not all. Those guys I just mentioned have been accused of not playing hard in playoff games.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to get them to play in an exhibition game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're not.
No, I want an answer.
Jamie, you have the answer. You nailed it before. There's not much that these leagues are going to be able to do. I mentioned yesterday, we were talking about the Draymond Green comments. The league is trying to sell advertising, which means you have to provide entertainment. They also want to manufacture competitiveness, and you get in a spot where, like, nobody's happy. So I agree with you, Jamie. These four major leagues, they're all-star weekends.
Yep. Save
for the Four Nations tournament, save for the Olympics. You're fast-laned.
You're fascinating. I think the pivot for me, and I'll say this quickly, the pivot for me is scrap the games. Scrap the games. Make it an all-star weekend of competitions. Like Steph Curry, you have to be in the 3-point against so-and-so. And there's money on the line. Let's say let's say Carey Davis, you're selected to the All-Star game in the NBA. What's your favorite charity? Who do you do work for?
Right.
Well, I work with
the Carey Davis Foundation.
The Carey Davis Foundation, right? Which provides sporting goods for young kids, whatever it is.
Nice job, Carey.
Balls and vitamins.
Balls and vitamins.
My point is, each player then connected to a charity, and every time they win an event, a certain amount of money goes to that charity. So now they look like absolute a-holes if they get up there and they do the Wembanyama thing. If they do that stuff, they're like, really?
Yeah. Because this is for your charity.
And you might see a little intensity out of these guys to where they want to win, and then it will be competitive.
I think a one-on-one tournament would be pretty cool.
Now that would
be great because guys' egos would be like.
They would play hard.
Oh yeah,
they would play hard
to run.
Well,
like one-on-one half court.
Yeah,
take it back to the line.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm also in favor of watching
yesterday?
Knockout.
He was.
Oh yeah,
he actually was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Knockout would be cool.
Knockout would be fun. That's a good game,
especially since the game is trending towards three-pointers.
I think really knock somebody out. I was like,
that could work too.
That'd be kind of fun.
You know,
that would be fun.
It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. So Jamie officially before the show. Jamie, welcome to the dark side. Jamie agrees with one of my points.
Oh, yeah.
Carey, he doesn't.
This should be fun.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Carey's reading the sheet right now.
Like, what did I miss?
Yeah. You'll find out. Next in the Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
Hey, fellas, it's Carey, and by now you've been hearing me talk about Blue Chew, and you know that it is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis at a fraction of the cost. So what are you waiting for? You need to try it. Blue Chew is an online prescription service that offers no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in the line at the pharmacy, and it ships directly to your door in a discreet package, and it doesn't take long. And how about this? How about free? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, get your first month free, and then you'll be ready, Anthony, to chew it and do it. Your partner wants you to do whatever it takes to make your sex life better, and Blue Chew is your secret weapon for the bedroom or, hey, wherever you want to get it on. Turn, oh, no, into, oh, yes, BlueChew.com. Guys, we know working out is important. It is shown to improve cardio, reduce stress, improve mood, but there's something else that does it as well, and that's sex. So you probably take a pre-workout or have coffee before training, so you should do the same. Why should sex be any different? There's nothing better than Blue Chew, and guys, you need to go there and get it out. Get to it now. BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it.
1-1 to Guerrero. Swinging a drive. Get out of here, ball. This one is going to go. Vladimir Guerrero.
Put him on the list of youngsters who've been very impressive tonight against the Yankees.
Oh, the sweet sounds of Sportsnet. Blue Jay fans can appreciate that for exactly one more year.
I don't know what you were going to. You teased something before the break, and I think I'm with you. Cardinals are getting Vladimir Guerrero, Jamie.
and Rafael Devers.
Getting both of them. Right. I didn't know that's where you were going with this.
Yeah.
I am on board with you. Yes. I'm looking forward to it. Marcia, this is going to be amazing.
Anthony,
Right?
not oh no.
Oh, yes.
Vladimir Guerrero said that he and the Blue Jays did not reach an agreement on a contract extension before his self-imposed Monday night deadline. They had their numbers. I had my numbers, he said, and barring a change of heart, Guerrero will head into free agency next season. Wow. Jamie, you had said what after we were talking about this in our pre-show meeting?
Well, I said a lot. But to me, this has become like a 4 or 5 team league at this point, to where if you're negotiating with a player who's going to be in talks with the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Phillies, like whoever your big spenders are,
Right.
forget about it. Concentrate on the 6, 7, 8 in the league payroll, because that's probably a little more the area where you should be at if you're looking to get a big free agent. Anybody that's actually really good is just going to get swallowed up by all the teams that spend all the money.
And you did say this is a problem for Major League Baseball.
Baseball's got a huge problem because
welcome to my side.
Anybody who's any good just gets waits and signs with the big dogs and get all the money. And those teams every year just spend all the money.
Right. Which is fine.
But
they can do so.
But here's why it's a problem, Carey, and I know you love your Dodgers, okay?
I do.
But here's why it's a problem. Those teams spend all the money. They make all the money, too. They got a ton of revenue that they bring in. And they revenue share with the teams who won't spend money, who refuse to, who actually choose to suck every year. They don't have to worry about making money, though, because the revenue sharing keeps them in the black every year. So if you're just a good little boy and go do your thing, the Dodgers will take care of you, okay? Just you develop us some really good players. We'll sign them when they're good, and then you'll get your little revenue sharing, okay? Yeah, that's a good boy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it's working.
Right. So the owners are fine. The players that are the most marketable and the best players are fine. And then you kind of got fans who are like, all right, well, if I'm a fan of the Dodgers like Carey is, you're good. You don't have to worry about anything.
No.
If you're a
Carey's not
fan
even
of the
a fan. He
Phillies,
just
you're
likes to
good.
spend money.
Fan of the Yankees, you're good. Maybe even the Red Sox are going to come alive here again after a very active offseason. The Mets, fan of the Mets, they're going to spend. But from an entertainment standpoint, and they're fine. That's fine. Okay, hey, there's no salary cap. You do you. But from an entertainment standpoint, from a competitive balance standpoint, this baseball season's boring AF. Hasn't even started yet. Off season was boring. This upcoming season's going to be boring.
Well, just look at how many teams
Not a fan.
in Major League Baseball that just aren't interesting anymore.
At all.
Like, at all. And that's kind of where I go with it. Is like, you go through each division, and, you know, like, there's so many teams that just, like, the whole AL Central division, pretty much, if you just got rid of all those teams, I don't know how many people would care. No, I mean, like, yeah, they've got their fans.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, from a national perspective, like, do you turn into Monday Night Baseball to watch the Guardians? Sunday Night Baseball for the Tigers? No, the answer's no, Anthony.
Okay.
You know that.
Yeah.
And even when you go like Seattle, they've got some good young players, but the A's...
They did nothing this offseason.
The A's stink. The Angels are never any good. And they've got one of the greatest players in the game, and they stink. The Nationals are... I don't see any must-watch TV there. The Marlins aren't must-watch TV. The Cardinals, the Reds, the Pirates, even the Brewers, who are the best team in the league. It's not like must-watch.
Right.
So the league has a big problem in the fact that their league really isn't all that interesting.
Thank you.
So I saw a stat, and I'm looking it up now. I saw a stat earlier that talked about batting average for team batting average. Last year, there were only 7 teams that batted over 250 as a team. In comparison to 2005, there were 30 teams that batted over 250. Like, it has progressively gone down year after year because the swing and miss, nobody cares. You hit a home run, home run or strikeout, nobody cares whether you're hitting the ball. I think that matters more to why baseball is not as people aren't as engaged. You're either going to strike out or hit a home run, and you're going to strike out way more times than you hit home runs. I think Ellie De La Cruz struck out 160 times last year. He didn't hit 160 home runs, so you're striking out 2 or 3 times more.
But he's considered to be one of the most exciting players.
Correct,
in the league.
but you're striking out 2 or 3 times more than the home runs you're hitting. That, to me, is probably more of an indication as why baseball is bad or unwatchable as it is. Because if I'm a fan, okay, I'm a Cardinal fan. I'm a Dodgers fan, but I'm also a Cardinal fan. I got an East Coast team, and I got Cardinals on my heart. You know, my brain tells me to go with the Dodgers because I'm a smart man. I know you go where the money is being spent, Jamie. You understand that.
Who's your East Coast team?
I don't have one. Don't need one. Don't worry about the East Coast. The Pirates.
What?
That keeps me level, you know? Not too high, not too low. Keeps me.
A Facebook group. It's like 75 people in it.
We have more fans at Cybergs for Vikings games on Sunday.
I think you're right.
But I think if you're a fan of the Cardinals or you're a fan of the Cleveland Guardians or one of these other teams that are not spending X amount, your excitement comes or should come from saying, you know, we can beat these guys. That has to be the mindset. I know every single player, and Jamie, we've talked about this, there's not a player in any clubhouse that's like, oh, they're the Dodgers, we're going to get our butts kicked. That's not how they think.
No.
They don't think like that. If
not
they
out
are,
loud anyways.
Not well. You might have 2 or 3 guys that are like, oh God. But then you got a majority of the guys like, the hell, fast lane them. We're gonna kick their butts. It doesn't matter. So the players in the clubhouse don't think the way that the general fans think.
Yep.
It's not the Dodgers are going to automatically win because they spend so much money. It's the Dodgers have the better players, but our team still can compete or still should feel like they can compete. Paul Skeens is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He plays for the Pirates. Do you think when he plays the Dodgers, he's like, oh, man, they got all these hitters. I'm not going to be.
No,
so
he pitches good because he knows they're going to want to sign him.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Lots of money.
You got to get paid somehow, Jamie. The Pirates ain't going to do it. That's their fault. But I don't think that that's what causes baseball to go down. This number, batting, guys striking out 3 times more than they're hitting home runs. If you're only going to tell me I can either hit a home run or strike out, that to me is not as exciting. You're not even putting the ball in play.
Yeah.
That's what's boring to people that are trying to watch baseball. You strike out, you go sit your butt back down in the dugout, and now the inning, the run, you had an opportunity to make a run there and put some runs on the board, and you don't because you struck out. Yeah. That's less exciting than putting the ball in play.
See, to me, that it's an and thing, not an or thing. I'm with you. I think it's an and thing. I'm not even interested in watching your movie because the trailer sucks. Then if I stumble upon it, if I stumble upon the movie, now I know it. No, I know.
That's really good.
That was a shot.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I know it sucks. Not your movie. Not the one you started. But. You know, Carey, to your point, it's like, all right, the trailer's not interested. I'm not interested in the trailer, but if I stumble upon the movie somehow, people are telling me I should watch this. I watch it. Now, to your point, I don't like what I'm watching.
The product is terrible.
Yeah. It's kind of like the NBA. Everybody's taking and college basketball for that matter, too, although college basketball is at least competitive. I know. We'll get into that later. But the NBA is 3-pointer die, no defense. It has become a boring game. I think this is where the non-analytic crowd does have a point. It might be smarter to live in the margins, to try to find every little advantage you can from a number standpoint. But from an entertainment value, both sports, I think, are down.
I also wonder, like, if you're a fan, do you necessarily want one of your favorite players to be that elite, knowing that they're probably not going to be on your team anymore if you're in one of these smaller to mid-range markets? Because if you have a guy on your team, let's say, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., more than likely he's not going to be a Blue Jay. More than likely. You put so much time and energy and emotion into a certain player only for them to leave, and knowing that they're probably going to leave to one of these bigger market teams. Yeah. And I don't necessarily blame the player. They have to go get their bag, right? Like that's for them to provide for their family and whatnot. But as a fan, you're just like, oh man, like, Yeah, it was really fun while this player played here for a few years, and now he's gone.
What you just described are Pirates and Rays fans.
You blame the ownership, though.
Absolutely.
You don't blame the player.
Right.
I know that's not what you're saying, but you blame the ownership. If I'm the Dodgers and I know the Pirates aren't trying, or the Marlins aren't trying, or one of these lowly teams aren't trying, why I wouldn't want to give them money.
Sure.
That would be why the hell do I got to give? Why do I have to share my revenue when they aren't trying? So I would start there. Mm-hmm. If you want to change something, the teams that are not trying, the teams that are not going to pay their players or feel like they can't pay their players, those are the ownership groups that you should be upset with. You should be upset with the Pirates ownership group for not trying, for not paying, because Paul Skeens in 3 or 4 years is going to get paid elsewhere because they're going to say the hell with this. I'm not paying him.
Right.
Which is ridiculous for all of Pittsburgh Pirate fans. It's unfair. But it's not the players' fault, it's the ownership.
Yeah, for me, I'm not blaming the kids. I'm blaming the parents.
But you're also blaming the Dodgers, and I think your anger.
I'm not blaming the Dodgers.
I think your anger should be more at the teams that are choosing, because that is a choice.
Oh, they're worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want me to say that what the Pirates are doing are worse than what the Dodgers are doing,
yes,
done.
All right.
The Pirates are worse. What I'm saying is the institution's the problem. The way that they have set all this up is the problem. I find it more entertaining. I find the NFL to be more entertaining, where you've got a cap. I find the NHL to be more entertaining. You have a cap. NBA, you have a cap. I don't think you have to have parity, because I do appreciate teams like the Chiefs that have. It's more impressive what the Chiefs have been able to do, say for 2 Sundays ago, than what the Dodgers have been able to do. That's not impressive to me now. It's just not.
Is it not?
I'm not impressed.
You're not
So
entertained.
I'm not entertained, Russell. I'm not. So for me, Major League Baseball needs a cap and a floor. We'll never see it, though, as we've continued to talk about that. All right, this Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Does Team USA have a slight predicament on their hands when it comes to injuries and the way that Four Nations tournament is set up from an injury standpoint? I mean, come on, you made the rules, right?
Dad,
What the hell's going on here?
it's interesting.
We'll explain next on 101 ESPN.
If you love sports betting, there is no better way to do it than with Circa Sports Illinois, the app. Derek Stevens, the owner of Circa Sports, the creator of it all, told me a long time ago that he wanted to create the world's largest sports book, and he did in Las Vegas. It is amazing. But now he's bringing the world's biggest sports book right to your fingertips with the Circa Sports Illinois app, and it's so much fun. They've got great lines on all their futures bets, tight money line splits. You're getting the best odds, too, out of any app that is out there. So download other apps. Derek was on this very radio station and said, hey, look, download several apps. Compare them to Circa Sports. You'll see that Circa Sports Illinois has the best odds, which means the best payouts as well. They've got exceptional customer service. So if there is some kind of a problem, you actually talk to a human being, not a bot or AI generated, anything like that. So please download it. You can check it out on their website, and you can find it at the App Store. Don't miss out on the action. Bet like a pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today, and join in on all of the excitement. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Team USA took on Sweden last night, and Sweden won 2-1, but that game does not matter. The game that matters is on Thursday as USA takes on Jordan Bennington, Colton Parayko, and the Canadians, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We have some information surrounding Team USA that we're going to dive into next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Point Hughes is coming.
That was Mike Sullivan, head coach of our Team USA.
Yeah.
Right, Jamie?
Yeah.
It's your birth country in Canada.
Yeah, it's my home
This is
country.
your home country, though.
Yeah.
Team
I've
USA.
paid way more taxes here.
For you and others.
and others.
Yeah.
And employ people and pay their taxes,
That's what I'm
too.
saying, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so do the Americans have a bit of a predicament on their hands? So Charlie McAvoy will miss the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game, which is on Thursday, and we've got the game for you. Pre-game starting right after our show at 6 o'clock. Puck will drop at 7 o'clock. Reigning Norris Trophy winner Quinn Hughes will join Team USA ahead of the championship game. Team USA and Pittsburgh Penguins coach Mike Sullivan announced. Great, awesome, right? No issues. Well, according to tournament rules, Carey, Hughes would only be eligible to play if there's another injury to Team USA's defense.
That's a pretty bad rule.
So they lose a player, they picked up a player,
Yeah.
but that player can't play unless somebody else gets hurt on their defense.
So this is where, excuse me, I get choked up when I hear these stupid things.
Absolutely.
This is where the NHL went wrong. Out of everything that they've done right for this tournament, and we clearly have seen the result, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest thing ever. This is a made-up tournament. It's like creating a backyard game, and you put in rules that are dumb. Think about that for a second.
That's hilarious.
You named your team. So if you have an injury or whatever, you should, they should have made it really fun. Hear me out, because this would be fun. If Team Canada has an injury of any kind, or Team USA has an injury, you can call any Canadian player you want to come in. Any U.S.-born player you want. They don't have to have even been picked for the team.
Right.
How much fun would it be for this game Thursday night for Team Canada to go, you know what? What's Tom Wilson doing? What's Matthew Olivier doing on Thursday night? You boys want to start throwing the mitts around? Oh, we got a couple of Canadians here who can't really play, but we don't really need them to. Actually, Tom Wilson can play. He's a 35 goal scorer, so it wouldn't be that far of a stretch.
Shocking that he wasn't on the team to begin with.
Right now, they're kicking themselves. I can guarantee you, after the Kachucks put a beat down on the Canadian players, Team Canada was like, why the hell did we not take Tom Wilson instead of Travis Konechny? Basically, what are you doing here?
Right.
No offense to Travis Konechny. He's a hell of a hockey player, but you could have used Tom Wilson. So my point being, why do you have these rules? So now, it happened earlier in the tournament. Team Canada, Cale Makar got ill, and they called up, what's his name?
Thomas Hartley.
Thomas Hartley from the Dallas Stars. He had to stand in the hallway looking out the door at practice as they practiced until the team came off the ice. Then he got on the ice because he wasn't technically allowed to be a part of the team yet.
That's weird.
Because Cale Makar was skating that day to see if he could get through it, you know? Guys, NHL, make it simple. If you want, add 3 extra roster spots.
As reserves.
But whatever. Nobody bring them to the tournament.
Yeah.
Who cares? Those guys are not going to say no.
Right.
It's a massive honor. Like, if you would have told me, hey, Jamie, you're never going to play. Like, there's no chance that you're going to make the lineup unless something crazy happens. But we'd like you to come play for Team Canada and the Four Nations. You'll practice every day. You'll be a part of the team. Yep, sign me up. I'm in. Cancel my trip to Mexico. I don't care. I'm in.
Yeah.
Tell Irv I said next time.
Irv. Yeah.
He
We can
named the
go-
monkey Irv.
I mean, who wouldn't name a monkey Irv? You know, Carey, you get it.
I do.
Yeah. So we,
Short for Irving.
yeah. Yeah. But
Irving
when you
the
get to
monkey.
be tight with the monkey, you call it Irv.
Oh,
It's fine.
okay.
The monkey loves me. But going back to the Four Nations, just have some extra spots so you can add whoever you want. Like, how stupid is this? Quinn Hughes is the reigning Norris Trophy winner, the best defenseman in the NHL, and he can't play unless Jake Sanderson slips in the parking lot.
No, you're right. This is, I like the way you phrased it. So you made it up. This is like if you're a kid, you're a kid and you're like, you know what? Let's have a massive game. All neighborhood kids are allowed. Except for you, Marsh. All right? Except for you. Somebody gets hurt, maybe. Maybe we'll consider you.
Maybe. But we're going to have a free-for-all.
But we've got rules.
And I'm watching outside my window.
Waiting for some kid to trip over the curb.
Well, no, he's fine. Okay, if he can't walk, then you're in. You're right, Jamie. They could have made up anything they wanted.
Just carry 3 extra guys.
Because it doesn't. I mean, it matters to us watching because we're rooting for our country, but ultimately, it doesn't matter.
But they wanted best on best.
Yeah.
You have the best defenseman in the NHL who can't play now.
Right, he's hurt. So
No takesy backsies.
bring somebody else. Bring somebody else in.
Here's one better. You can still change it.
Right.
Who cares? Like, Gary Bettman and Bill Daly could say, hey,
You know what?
get me Team USA, Team Canada on line 1. Guys, here's the deal. We're letting them play. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And Team Canada, you're really going to have a problem with it? Would you rather beat the best team that USA can put together or beat a team that for the next 2 years or whatever, till the Olympics and all that, well, they didn't have their best players.
Right.
Like, Team Canada, like, bring it. Because he was supposed to be there initially, but he had a nagging injury that held him out. So they had to replace his roster spot.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. We will have the game for you. Marcia, got
I just, it's tough when Jake Sanderson slips and falls in the parking lot.
Right.
Oh, he's going
Or
to have
Adam
food poisoning.
Fox.
Watch. If I was him, I'd hire somebody to eat my food before I do for a while.
I think that is. I think that's the
gunning for me.
question now is, do they
who gets
end
hurt
up
next?
getting around this? How do they not?
So-
Somebody's going
I'm
to
sure
be
they
quote
will.
unquote injured.
And here's
There's
another-
gamesmanship involved.
Here's another loophole. It doesn't have to be a defenseman that gets hurt. It just has to be a rostered player. So your fourth line right winger, he might get a tummy problem. He might all of a sudden pull a groin. And then all you do is you say, we'll go with 7 defensemen then. So we'll play Jake Sanderson up front, which he could totally get away with that because he's really good offensively. And then Quinn Hughes slots in on the back end.
Yeah. All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Again, got the U.S. versus Canada Thursday night, pregame starting right here on 101 ESPN at 6 o'clock. The puck will drop about 7 o'clock. With Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane. And speaking of Marsh, he's got what's trending next. This is one of the best time of year for college basketball. We got the conference tournament starting up pretty soon. In fact, the Arch Madness tournament, which is held every year in St. Louis at Enterprise Center, that's March 6th through the 9th. They've got 6 different sessions starting that Thursday afternoon with first-round matchups and leading into Sunday's championship game. But you can take part of the Arch Madness tournament and bring your family. They got the Family Fun Pack ticket offer. It's 4 single-session tickets, 4 large sodas, 4 regular regular popcorns, all for $104. So everything is all inclusive there, right? You get everything. You get the tickets for the family, you got the popcorns for the family, you got the sodas for the family, and you get to watch some great college basketball as well for the Missouri Valley Conference. Drake continues to lead. They're 23-3, 13-3 in conference play. They did lose this past weekend by 2 to Bradley, who's tied for second now with Northern Iowa. So it's a close race. It's a great tournament, and it's a great conference. It's a great tournament overall. So check out the Arch Madness tournament March 6th through the 9th in St. Louis, and buy yourself that family fun pack featuring the four session tickets, the 4 single session tickets, the 4 large popcorns, and the 4 large sodas, all courtesy of Arch Madness.
Topics in the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, we were just talking about Team USA and injuries. Last night, Brady Tkachuk sustained a lower body injury for the United States in their 2-1 loss. U.S. coach Mike Sullivan said Brady obviously has a lower body injury. We held him out more for precautionary reasons at that point. I haven't got an update to this point after the game yet, so we'll see how he responds, but I don't anticipate it being an issue. I have a question for you guys. What do you think? What portion of NHL execs love what they're seeing right now at the Four Nations face-off versus some that are scared that some of these injuries will impact the NHL teams when the season resumes?
Yeah, all the teams that are contending for a playoff spot are on pins and needles. The executives, the management, they are. Yeah. I mean, these are multi-million-dollar investments that you've got just running around the track right now, smashing into each other.
Right.
And you, as the team, share no benefit. in it. You're not getting extra sales at the jersey store or in the beer aisle. Like, none of that's happening. So they're all very nervous. But the ownership and the higher-ups understand the value of what this is bringing. And to grow the game of hockey, you have to put your best players on display. And what better way to do it than in one of the most competitive tournaments I've seen in a long time, not called the Stanley Cup. And a lot of people come May and June aren't watching the Stanley Cup. If you don't know about it, the history of the Stanley Cup, like, it's out there, but, baseball's going, like, things are going on. Right now, there's really nothing. So what a perfect opportunity for the NHL to capture an audience, and that's what it's done. You can't turn on any sports network, ESPN, Fox Sports, like you name, every single day. They have been talking about Four Nations, and every single day they have shown the clips of the 3 fights in 9 seconds. Every day.
And this is playoff hockey, too. The way they're playing is playoff hockey. If not, like, even more so with the passion between the two countries rather than just two NHL teams.
Yeah, it feels like playoff hockey. Jamie said it perfectly. Imagine if you're a GM, you're a president, and you have drafted a player. You have invested in that player. You developed that player. That player has become a star. You're one of your best players. Or you spent all your owner's money in free agency and most of your cap to acquire one of those players, and now you're watching them. You're holding your breath that they don't get hurt because you have built. Because whose ass is on the line when it comes to winning or losing a championship? Yes, it's the players, but everybody's going to look at the person that built the roster.
Well, what do you think right now? The Ottawa Senators, Bill Andelauer is a brand new owner. I think his second year owning the team. The Senators are in a playoff spot right now. They haven't made the playoffs in I don't even know how long. And Brady Tkachuk is out here smashing into people left and right, fighting,
Damn right.
running into the net. And he's your best player. He's your franchise. And as the owner, you have to watch that and go, okay, sure hope he's okay when he comes back here. We got a little bit of a playoff run to make.
Doesn't look okay. He looks a little banged up.
He's fine.
He looks a little banged up. Might want to make a phone call to the Blues. We'll take him.
Yeah, Army, get him now while he's injured. Yeah, that's it.
I was telling Jamie that watching this Four Nations tournament has been, it's eye-opening. Just good hockey.
What do you mean by that, Carey?
Well,
you said eye-opening.
Well, it's clear. The passes, the passes are it's just amazing. Like,
these guys are pretty good.
They're pretty good. Like tape to tape, they would say, it's
and
on
quickly too, right?
Like, I was watching. Which game was it? I can't remember which game it was, but I think it might have been the Canada game. They were on a power play, and I remember you talking about just swinging it around the perimeter, making the defense move. Like for the first 45 seconds, Jamie, that's all they did. They didn't take a shot. They just passed it around, made the defense, and then they went in. Like, wow. Is that how that's supposed to go? I have never seen anything like this.
Now, wait a second.
This is amazing.
I know you watch a fair amount of hockey. Carey, what are you alluding to?
What I'm saying is these are some of the best players in the world. And the way that they play hockey, man, just beautiful.
Yes.
It's amazing to watch. It's pretty good. Damn.
It is.
Wish I could watch that every night.
You can, starting Saturday night. Blues got the Winnipeg Jets here.
Okay, yeah. Marshy, what you got?
Winnipeg, pretty good team. So we had the question.
I hate all of you.
We had the question to Carey. What? They got a pretty good goaltender. Connor Hellebuck?
Not Thursday. What?
What team are you rooting for?
It's like having another personality inside of me.
What the hell?
Like all the way inside of me, Anthony. Another personality.
You like it there, don't you?
I don't mind it.
Okay.
You know.
Marsh, you were saying.
So a couple weeks ago, we asked Carey the question about the NFL MVP and the Super Bowl and whether or not he would give up his Super Bowl to win NFL MVP. I have a new question, though. Based on what I've heard from some of the U.S. players, Jack Eichel, who's won a Stanley Cup, he said that this is probably the biggest game, if not the biggest game he's ever played in, Thursday against the Canadians. So for Jamie, what do you believe to be like the bigger accomplishment, winning for your home country or winning the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, not to dog on you, I've just never liked these kinds of questions because it's so.
All right, yeah, no. I'll go back. This is why I wasn't invited to the street game.
Correct.
I'll go back to the window.
Get back to the window, please.
We'll let you know, Marsh.
Thanks.
They're just very different, right? Because the Stanley Cup it's a war of attrition, is really what it is. I mean, I believe it, carrying no offense to any other sport, I believe it to be the hardest trophy to win in all sports. When you have to win 4 games every single round and you're playing every other night, like that's taxing on the body, it's taxing on the brain. So when you win that Stanley Cup, it's like there's an elation of like, 1, you survived it, 2, you're exhausted, and 3, you can't believe you're holding this thing, let alone about to drink champagne out of it. Whereas tournaments like this or even the Olympics, it's different. Like, you got your boys like during the season when you win the Stanley Cup, but it's different when you're with your boys from the same country. And I'm not going to compare this to war because that's really probably the worst thing I could probably do. But I just mean that there's country versus country versus country. There's the ultimate pride in being from your nation and representing your nation and then going and winning something for your nation where you know the whole country is cheering for you. Not just hockey fans. All of the United States of America want Team USA to win on Thursday night.
And there's fans from other teams that maybe they don't like a certain player. We'll use Matthew Tkachuk as an example. I'm sure there's a lot of teams in the East, a lot of fans out East that can't stand the guy. But my goodness, they're going to be rooting for him on Thursday.
They're going to love him.
It's just different,
It's
right?
just different. That's all I meant by it. I wasn't trying to be like difficult with your question.
No, it's fine. You hurt my feelings. We can move on now.
I've said way worse to you.
Very true. Probably say way worse by the end of the show.
It's in play.
It's fascinating on 101 ESPN. So Chaim Bloom has connections to the Rays, as we know, also the Red Sox. But Robert Cifolio was lured away from the Guardians. And there's been a lot of like Cardinals and Guardians crossovers. Well, if the Cardinals are modeling at least somewhat of their front office approach, somewhat of it after the Guardians, what will that approach look like ultimately? We'll dive into that next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking to accessorize your vehicle, no matter what the year, make, or model, doesn't matter, Pure Performance is your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. And they're absolutely known for their top quality work. You see a vehicle out there that Pure Performance has accessorized, and you just know. You can tell by looking at it how awesome they are at what they do. And again, it's for every type of vehicle. If you have a Jeep, a Bronco, a pickup truck like me, a Tesla like my guy Carey, they've got you covered. They've got everything you need over there at their 25,000 square foot facility in St. Peter's, right off of Highway 70. Get over there, walk in, ask for Shelby or Caleb, please. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. And then they're simply going to ask you what kind of vehicle you have and what you're looking to do. And then they'll ask you about your budget. And then what they do is they go to work and they find all the best things that they possibly can that fit into your budget. Then the technicians take over. We already talked about how awesome they are. When you go pick up your vehicle, you will absolutely love it. It is the best. They are the best in the business. Great customer service and unbelievable products. So please get by and check it out. If not, get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure P-U-R, performance.com.
Stalter, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. A lot of connections this offseason being made between the Cardinals and the Guardians, and the reason for that is there seems to be the Cardinals are trying to model part of the front office after the way that Cleveland has done things, Tampa has done things, eschew bringing in big-time free agents and free agents that are going to cost a ton because they know they can't compete with the likes of the Dodgers and the Phillies and the Mets, and go the route of player development, right? Draft and development. So I wanted to ask you guys, one, what does like the new approach, if they're going to model themselves after the Guardians, what does that look like? And two, is everybody okay with it? Because what the Guardians have done, one, they have concentrated not only on the draft but pitching development. I mean, Cleveland has been one of Major League Baseball's best at developing homegrown pitching. Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, Aaron Savali, they've done a great job bringing in players as well. They traded for Corey Kluber at one point. Bauer was traded, and they landed guys like Franmil Reyes, Logan Allen. They traded away Mike Clevenger and brought in guys like Josh Naylor and Gabriel Arenas and Quantrell. When they dealt Francisco Lindor, they brought in Andres Jimenez, Ahmad Rosario, and some other prospects. Then they just flipped Ahmad Rosario, or not Ahmad Rosario, but Andres Jimenez. This has kind of been the approach. Draft these guys, develop, concentrate on pitching, but really, when it's time, we're going to deal those guys. Maybe if it's not a star, unless it's Lindor, but we're going to keep this thing moving constantly. Are you guys okay with that approach if that winds up being the Cardinals? Say for like if Mason Wynn develops into who we think he is, they re-sign him. I do think that's the one main difference.
Yeah, I don't think I'm looking at the payroll and Cleveland is in the bottom third, like year after year. I think if the Cardinals decide to go that route and truly continue to lower their payroll, Cleveland is, I think it was under $100 million. Like they are extremely low in their payroll. I don't think Cardinal fans would be okay with that.
I don't either.
I don't think it's sustainable to actually, if your goal is to win championships, like you're going to have to pay players when the opportunity presents itself. We got a text here that says if the Cardinals should mirror what the Braves do instead of what Cleveland is doing, which I would assume is paying their players, but paying them early. Paying them early before they get to that higher number. Your number is going to go up a little bit. You're going to be higher in your payroll. Yeah. But you're actually saving yourself money because you signed those guys sooner rather than waiting till later. So I don't know that I just don't think that that's a sustainable model for this. You're not Cleveland. Like you're the St. Louis Cardinals. That has to mean something. And it does mean something. There's a name brand associated with that. If you asked 100 people, they would know who the St. Louis Cardinals, just random people on the street. They could name more Cardinals than they could. They would probably still call them the Cleveland Indians, right? So those are two totally different, in my opinion, organizations, and they should not be viewed in the same in how they go about their business.
So I think the Cardinals, for the shortcoming, are fine doing the Guardian way. They almost have to. But then once you have your players that you've drafted and developed and they're ready to take the next steps, you can't just let them walk.
Right.
Like that model, the Tampa Bay Rays, like that model is brutal. Yeah. It basically tells your fan base that we don't care how attached you get to a certain player. That's your fault, not ours. Right? Like it does. So
please buy their jerseys. They're going to be useless in a couple of years, but buy them.
Exactly. And that would be uninspiring to be a Cardinals fan at that point. I think when the Cardinals, and you'll know it, the baseball world knows when you've drafted and developed a star player. That you just know. It's not like rolling the dice on like, no, you know, because the numbers bear it out. And you make sure you hang on to that player. Then you do the Braves thing. So if Jordan Walker has a great year this year and next year as well, okay, Jordan, we like you for 7 years, 8 years. Yeah. Right. Lock him up. It's going to cost you some money, But you're telling your fan base that when we draft and we develop the players that take those next steps, we are going to keep them or do our best to keep them.
Yeah.
Because we'd like to have a consistent winning team. Where you go wrong is when you do the Rays thing. You draft, you develop a player, and just when he gets good, you get rid of him because you don't want to pay him.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can't do that. Cardinal Nation won't tolerate that.
And I don't think, and I know we're all kind of pessimistic about the Cardinals right now, but I don't think that's their plan. I get the sense that it's going to be a combination of a couple of different teams. The way that Cleveland drafts their players, Tampa, the way that they scout not only for their own team, but for other teams as well. Brewers, same idea, but be able to keep those players after you get them, i.e. the Braves. Mm-hmm. But the one thing, people bring up the Braves. Okay, you want to be the Braves. Ozzie Albies was an international free agent. Ronald Acuna was an international free agent. The Braves have done a remarkable job of finding international stars. The Cardinals have done a horrendous job at finding international players.
It can't be
so
that
if you
hard.
want to be,
it's just this money thing, right?
It's a money thing and it's a capped thing. So that is something you can't just spend at will in the international market. You have a certain amount.
Okay, so it's there's an amount there to protect you as well.
So why the Cardinals have decided, we'll just forego excuse me, get choked up thinking about this.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Why we'll just forego that aspect of free agency, international market. We don't need to do that. That's too dangerous. That's
Maybe
risky.
because it was
what?
Allocating funds elsewhere that they weren't. That's what they were talking about, being behind the times in certain aspects in certain areas, which, again, I don't know how you allow that to happen. I don't know how you are one of the premier franchises in a sport, in one of the four major sports in America, and you are behind the times in certain areas and certain aspects. To me, that's negligent. That's lazy.
It could be arrogant, too.
It could be. Maybe it's more arrogant than negligent.
Think about
which is worse.
We don't need to battle with these guys for the international guys.
Yeah.
Right.
We draft great players over here.
Right. It's a lot of money for guys that haven't proven anything
That's
yet.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that. Jason said Herrera is an international free agent. I'm not saying they haven't gotten anybody.
Yeah, but what is Herrera?
I don't
he
think
still hasn't even established himself.
He's just starting catcher.
Here's the other Here's the other thing too. Even Rosarina.
You turned it way down though.
I have to. This thing doesn't react unless you do
We're gonna
that.
be freezing in.
No, it's
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
It's hot right now.
It is warm. I agree with that.
Stop it.
I'm not saying they haven't signed any international free agents, but if you want to compare Randy Rosarina and Ivan Herrera and Pedro Pajes to Ozzie Albies and Ronald Acuna, I got nothing for you.
Give it time, Anthony.
Cruz.
I got nothing for you.
Give it time. Huh? Just give it time.
Just saying. I'm not saying it's like it's the never conversation, right? It's like they never do anything. Well, I do. Okay, I'm not.
That's right.
I mean, never. They signed a bunch of 16-year-olds this offseason.
That's why they couldn't get a free agent.
Oh man.
Anyways, all right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. By the way, if anybody's like, you know what, the Guardians, what have they ever won, blah, blah, blah. They have not won World Series.
No.
There you go.
But I did look at this, okay? If we're going to thumb our nose up at what Cleveland has done, understand this. In the last 10 years, playoff appearances, Cardinals 5, Guardians 6. Playoff series wins, winning a series, Cardinals 1 over that span. Guardians 4. World Series appearances, Cardinals, goose egg. Guardians 1. LCS appearances, Cardinals 1, Guardians 2. Division titles, both play in pretty substandard divisions. Cardinals 3 division titles over the last 10 years, Guardians 5. Regular season wins. Cardinals win percentage, .538. Guardians, .552. So if we're going to say, what have the Guardians ever won? They've done better than you. I think taking a small approach from them and also applying it to some other teams that do well is the best way to go.
Yeah.
Have a game plan. as opposed to what the Cardinals have been doing, which is we'll just do what we've always done. Because that hasn't worked. It's run its course. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. I saw that our guy Jeremy Rutherford wrote about, he took a bunch of questions about Brayden Schenn. Would the Blues be interested in trading Schenn? How much could they get for him? All of that. My question is this, and we can go over that and some of the things that JR talked about. But if you are going to trade Schenn, what's the goal? Because there's got to be a goal. You're not just going to make a trade just to make a trade, especially when it involves your captain. So we'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
when you listen to the ability for the Blues to potentially move Brayden Schenn's contract, if there were teams interested, why wouldn't they consider it? I think Brayden Schenn is a good captain, a good leader. He's playing very well this year. But if you're moving into the future, you're not going to make the playoffs this year potentially, and you're bringing these young guys in. Yes, you need that leadership around, but if you got 3 years left on that contract, and that's a contract you can move, I could see that it could make sense if there's teams out there interested. And in talking to the Chris Johnstons, the Pierre LeBruns, it sounds like there's some teams interested.
That was our guy, Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic, who joined us yesterday talking about Brayden Schenn and why you would move him. And he also put together an article today for The Athletic where he took readers' questions about those very questions. Would the Blues be interested in trading Brayden Schenn? I'll summarize for you. Doug Armstrong is going to listen to any offers. That's part of his job, is to listen to offers. What could they realistically get in return? Some people feel like they would get a lot for Brayden Schenn. Others, not so much because of his age, being 36, and the fact that he's got, a decent contract. Any idea which teams would be interested in Schenn? JR noted that the Blue Jays, the Maple Leafs are the only team that really continues to pop up. My question is, though, Jamie, CD, what would be the goal? Because you're not going to just, I feel like we as fans, we get so far down the road of, do you think they could trade Brayden Schenn? What do you think we could get?
This is always my most frustrating.
What would be the goal? Because it's either you're rebuilding and it's a prospect haul or a draft haul. Mm-hmm. You are trading because it's a chemistry thing or a contract dump, or it's a situation where you feel like you might be moving on at somebody. You got a younger player and, you're freeing up some time. What would be the goal to trade Brayden Schenn right now?
So if you just sit back and analyze a situation, you're supposed to be in this, not even a retool anymore, because Doug Armstrong said before the season started, we're no longer in that retool. We're coming out the backside of this. We anticipate and want to be a playoff team. That's not the case right now. They're 8 points out of a playoff spot behind Vancouver, and Vancouver has a game in hand. So it could be 10 points out of a playoff spot once they get to be evened up. That's a lot of ground to make up when you haven't even won 3 games in a row this season at any point. But to further the conversation about Brayden Schenn, if you trade Brayden Schenn, then you might as well trade Justin Falk, Nick Leddy. Like, why are you hanging on to all the veteran players in? Mm-hmm. Because what you're going to get for Brayden Schenn is prospects and maybe draft capital. Because if the Toronto Maple Leafs are the other team involved, they're not giving you anything back that's good, because they're trying to win a Stanley Cup. So you're going to get a whole bunch of players that a lot of people have never heard of. Mm-hmm. And they're probably going to be some really good young prospects. But if you're doing that, you're not even on the other side of the retool. You're back into a rebuild at that moment. So that's, to me, what that sounds the bell of a rebuild if you trade your captain for a bunch of prospects. And if you do that, I'll say it again, you got to look at moving Justin Falk. You got to look at moving Nick Leddy. You got to kick the tires on what Ryan Suter gets for you out there. Like, you don't need any of the veteran guys anymore. You don't. You're doing this rebuild, and you're handing the team off to younger bodies, younger people in the locker room. Yeah. So that's why, for me, I just don't know if it makes sense for the Blues, because, to go back, they're not going to get a player that replaces Brayden Schenn.
Right.
So you're going to be 2-3 years before you get something worth putting in your lineup.
Yeah, and I think what you get back is obviously important, but you usually trade from a position where you have a surplus. Like, if you got more guys, they've been trying to fill the center position, second, third, trying to fill that role. You trade away Brayden Schenn, you're even in a worse spot than you are now. And to your point, Jamie, you are truly in a rebuild. This season is a wrap. Like, you've made a decision. In my opinion, if you trade him away, you're saying, okay, we're not going to make the playoffs this season. We are fully all in on a rebuild, reset, and we're going to start this thing over from scratch. Mm-hmm. And this is how we're going to build it out going forward. And to your point, you do decide, okay, well, let's see who else we can move and what all we can get back. And then maybe you package that to get a better draft pick. Maybe that's something that you can do to help the team in the future. But I don't know that that's the best thing it's definitely, in my opinion, not the best thing for the current team, for the current roster, for the 24-25 season. Like, that would be, you would just be punting the season away.
Right.
Yeah.
We get a text from Rosie from the Air Comfort Service text line. We are in a freaking rebuild. We have to stop living in denial. All of those old POSs should be moved. I think POS stands for Players of St. Louis.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's the short.
That's POS. That's some strong language.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that, but
Maybe he forgot to spell out position players or something. I don't know.
Maybe it might be. Yeah, it might be short for
but
something.
I am gonna respond to Rosie here and say that you're not in a rebuild. The reason you're not in a rebuild is because you have Cam Fowler, Colton Parayko, Nick Leddy, Justin Falk, Ryan Suter, Brayden Schenn, Radek Faksa, Oscar Sundquist. Those are all veteran players, older players. If you're in a rebuild, none of those names are on your roster.
Yeah.
You're going with Dvorsky, Snuggerud, Bolduc, Lindstein, like Broberg. Like that's your future. Like you're done.
You mentioned all the veterans. It seems like there's a lot of veterans on this team. I think the question for me and maybe for other people that are Blues fans is where's the disconnect? Why is this team not better than what they should be based on all of the veteran talent on this team?
It's pretty simple. You don't have the high-end players. You don't. Yes. And your younger players, including your Thomas and Cairo, although they're not young, they're still not in their prime. They haven't hit their ceiling yet. Mm-hmm. That's your issue. You're waiting on the younger players to get to where they're relevant. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but where they're difference makers. And you're waiting on Thomas and Cairo to top out at their ceiling. That hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. And you don't. All your veteran players, as much as I love the guys, you don't have dynamic. Mm-hmm. Not up front. On the back end, I would argue till the cows come home that Colton Parayko is a top 10 defenseman in the NHL. You've got a horse there. And I like your goaltending duo. So you do have some things that are positive, but you don't have, like, BK and Ferrario. BK brought up an amazing point. Can't believe I'm saying that. But he brought up, I'm just joking. He knows I love him. He looked.
Great points.
He compared Jake Gensel and Jordan Kyrou. And they're statistically, over the last 3 years, basically the same player. Basically the same player. The difference, though, is Gensel was the fourth best player on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he's probably the fourth best player on the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. Jordan Kyrou is your best player. So that's where, when I'm talking about the high-end talent on the team.
Are we sure that these guys that you mentioned haven't topped
That's
out?
what I was going to ask.
And if they have, then you have to pivot.
When do you make that decision?
Well, I don't think they've topped out, because look at what Robert Thomas was able to do last year.
But you would think he'd be doing it this year.
He had the injury. He's had some speed bumps. Like, not every year is a Picasso. I know we want it to be. We all want Nathan McKinnon every year, but we don't have him.
Even he went through a dry spell at one point in his career.
He did. But I think Robert Thomas is a 90-point player. I think that's his ceiling. He showed us that last year, that he could possibly be that guy. And he could possibly be a Selke Trophy discussion. Jordan Kyrou, he's topped out, 73 points is what he had one year, I think his highest. Why can't he be 85? So I don't think they've topped out yet.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Waterboy, by the way, says POS. Jamie says it's pop on Speedo, according to Waterboy. Pop on Speedo.
Yes.
So that's what he was. I don't know what the context was to the text, but
Is that like a clip-on tie?
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very similar.
No.
Sure it is, Carey. I'll show you in the break.
I'm okay. I'll pass. You show the other guy.
I'm going to go to the bathroom, and you show Carey and Marsh. All right. We have advice for former athletes coming up next. 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, advice with former athletes. If you have a question for our guys, Carey and Jamie, about either their playing career or something you've always wanted to ask a former athlete, now's your time. 314-399-9646. We'll do advice with former athletes next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. In the Four Nations face-off last night, the United States lost to Sweden by a final score of 2-1. USA will take on Canada on Thursday for the Four Nations face-off championship. Should be a fun one. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7. Of course, you can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have advice with former athletes coming up next. So if you have a question you want to send to our former athletes, make sure you go to or use the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Just text in. Perhaps we'll ask one of our former athletes a question. That's coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Give me some advice, quick.
Time for advice with former athletes here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Super Bowl champion Carey Davis, NHL veteran Jamie Rivers, and Andrew Marsh got the questions for advice with former athletes.
All right, so we got a question yesterday from the 314. I wanted to circle back to it. Here's the question. How do you coach a team in an event like the Four Nations? You have a bunch of players from a bunch of different teams. Do you say go out and do your thing? Or what do you tell all the all-stars from multiple teams coming from different coaches?
Yeah, when you have a talented team like that, there's two ways to go about it. You can do like Mike Babcock did in Detroit, just sit back and stay out of the way and let the players do the work. Or like the coaches here at the Four Nations tournament. And it's not so much about systems or even line combinations, although that does help. Your job as a coaching staff is to find the quickest way to gel your team, to make sure that they are playing like a team. You've got 3 practices as a team before the tournament started. That's not a lot of time to get to know each other and to you're gelling, bonding, playing for each other, all that stuff. So I thought it was genius look, Team Canada has a great coaching staff. Rick Tocchet, John Cooper, these guys are legit. They're awesome. And John Cooper's a mastermind at bringing teams together. He does a great job of that. Flip side, Mike Sullivan is very good at what he does, but John Tortorella, believe it or not, the guy that everybody, he's so mean. He's unreal at bringing teams together, bonding, going to battle for the guy beside you. Like, he's all about that, like, foxhole guy.
Yeah.
Is the guy beside you someone you'd go to battle with? Yeah, he's here. He's wearing the red, white, and blue, like, get you all fired up. So, to me, that's the biggest challenge for the coaches, is finding the right chemistry overall for the group. And the team that finds that chemistry first usually has the most success.
Well, speaking of coaches and coaching styles from the 314, a question for the pros. Which style of coach do they like better, a loud one or a quiet one?
I don't care for a loud one, because who the hell you yelling at? There's a point in time, I think, and maybe this is true, I think the higher up you get, the less yelling there is, because there's not a lot of need for grown men to be yelled at for their job. It's a highly male testosterone driven environment. You yell at somebody, they're probably gonna yell back at you. And they've been lifting weights all day, every day. Kind of strong. You haven't, sir. So chill out.
Yeah, I've been in the weight room. I haven't seen you.
All right. So I think the notion that you have to scream and yell is crazy. Coach Dungy, Tony Dungy, I don't think his voice raised above this right here. He just got his point across, and you have some coaches that do all the screaming, and then some people like, man, hey man, mind your business, leave me alone.
Yeah, I played for all kinds of coaches, and I didn't really care if you yelled, if you were quiet. I don't care about any of it. All I need from you as a coach is honesty.
Yeah.
That's it. If I played like crap and you yell at me and you tell me I played like crap, that's fine. I can accept that. I respect what you said. I will do better. But if I play like crap and then you bench me or sit me up in the press box, but don't tell me what I did wrong or tell me, no, everything's fine. No, you're good, man. You're playing great. We're just going a little bit of a different lineup. No, be honest with me.
Tell me the truth.
And if you're going to yell at me when I do something bad, you better be there to give me a high five when things go good, too.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's all I ask for is honesty. I can tolerate you telling me I'm terrible as long as you tell me I'm good when I am playing good.
Right.
This next one's interesting from the 636. I have a question. I'm 42 and play in a semi-pro league football. I feel great physically and I'm doing well, but my wife is asking me to let go. What should I do? I love the sport and playing. I know I'm not going further, but I don't want to start problems either. What do I do? Suggestions.
Is she asking him to let go of football or her?
Wow. I think football.
I'm just wondering, Anthony.
I think football.
I think football.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that might be a good question to ask.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
hey,
football.
I love football. I love
So
you.
he's 42 playing the
What if
semi-pro
football
league?
asked me to give up you?
Listen. What? I don't think football can ask that.
Oh,
Good.
he can tell you in subtle ways.
It's a hypothetical.
Football will also tell you when it's time to be done. So, if you're out there running around hitting people on Saturdays or Sundays, your body will tell you when it's time. And I think you should just have a conversation like, hey, this is how I decompress. Some people go play golf. Some people play video games. I take my aggression out by playing football.
So I'm very curious, though, about this because when you say semi-pro football, like what is that? Like
It's-
arena football?
No, it's outdoors. Jamie, I will show you some videos.
Okay, but do
Yeah.
you make money?
Generally, no.
How often do you play?
Some of them might make money.
But like how often do you play?
Like once a week, I'm sure.
Like who
Yeah.
goes to these games?
Family members, friends, people.
I've actually broadcasted for
Okay, so
a
is it
semi-pro
unfair to
team.
compare it to like a really high-level beer league? Is that unfair? Because
no,
there's
I
some
don't
beer
think
league
so.
teams that have like a bunch of college kids. And
Yeah, there are people that played college ball, played high school ball. So, I got guys that have played these semi-pro leagues that, played high-level college
But
football.
it's local. They don't travel, right?
I don't think so.
No, the league that I broadcasted for, there were teams all over the Midwest region.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I coached a women's pro football team as well.
Okay.
We did travel. Like, we went places and
all right, so
they
this
were
is intriguing for me.
20s, 30s,
I
40s.
look at it two ways. Like if you're being paid and you're making money,
8 on 8, $1,500 a game.
okay, so that's one thing.
I would ask her what
The concern
what
is
the concern is.
Yeah.
Because
Is it time? Is he not
time?
there with
Right.
the kids? That's why I
is
asked
it-
if he
is it
traveled.
padded?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know too. Is it live or is it like?
Well,
Because there are different levels.
I mean, there's got to be a reason why she's asking you to let it go. So I think we start there. I'd ask her, hey, like Jamie's saying, is it a time commitment thing? Is it taking you away from
Your real job.
or the kids or whatever? Or is it a situation where she's concerned, injury wise? I'm seeing you get banged up too much or whatever.
Or maybe she's the one taking care of you every damn Sunday
There's
night.
gotta be
Saturday
something.
night.
But the flip side of this, though, too,
If
is
she's just like, I don't like it, then
But okay, so just based on that, I don't like it. You also have to like in a relationship. If you came into this relationship and he played football or he plays hockey or softball or whatever it is, you can't take that away from him. Like you can't. Then you're asking him to change who he is.
Yeah.
He's responding. He said, "Time and my well-being. These guys I play with are in their 20s."
Yeah, well, you know what, though? Carey, I'll say this, and you know this.
Yeah. If you can keep going,
You're
keep going.
wired different,
Yeah.
right? Like at 49 years old, nothing I love more than when we skate in like these alumni games and I'm playing against college kids or current pro athletes and I'm burying them. Like, it's like, there's no better feeling. You're like, I can do this again. And the next day, you're like, I can't do this again.
Sign me up, Croatia. I mean,
I just go back to the original comment. Like, if it's who you are, if it's what you embody as a human being, play until you can't play anymore.
I agree. I mean, if you enjoy it, enjoy it. I would just have the conversation with your wife and explain, hey, this is what I enjoy doing. This is how I decompress. This is how I enjoy this part of my life. I would like to do this until I'm unable to do it anymore. And I would have that conversation.
Which might be next game.
Might be.
She might not know what it means to you.
There you go.
And if she supports you, and I think there's got to be some understanding of it's a major time commitment. Maybe it's something you say, okay, well, maybe you could give up something else that is not as important as football and create some time.
His kids love it. She doesn't. She's probably worried about him getting hurt.
She probably is, but
and that's every football wife.
Yeah,
known to man.
Express what it means to you. And if she's supportive of you, then I would like to think that
my girlfriend leaves or worries about me every time I leave the house.
That's she's worried about a lot of things though with you.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the water boy. This one might be a little bit of a crap sandwich. Just depends on who takes it that way. As a former athlete, did you ever take anything that bothered you from home and use it on the field or ice? How did you separate those parts of your life? I know one young man who, if he steps on one of his kids' toys, that puts a real rage through his body and makes him want to practice his failing baseball career.
Oh, man.
Failing?
Okay.
They moved me to second. It wasn't like I failed. Just moved positions.
There's two parts to this. As a younger player, and let's say things aren't going well at home. You got the girlfriend, the fiance, maybe the new wife at a young age, and things aren't going well. Yeah, I'm carrying that rage out on the ice with me. I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like, blank you to everybody. Now, as my career went on, all of the crap that happened at home or this, that, the other, I found the rink to be an unbelievable sanctuary because I get to walk in those doors and whatever happened, I just leave it right there. I mean, you stay outside there? Yeah, not allowed in here. I get to go play hockey.
Yeah.
So both sides for me.
Yeah, to answer that, I have taken, I think that's, when I got done playing, that was probably the biggest adjustment. Like, I just couldn't run into people.
I don't feel it.
Like, I just could not. It's illegal now, right? It's illegal to just hit people square in the face and you feel like, oh, thank you. It's illegal, and that was probably the hardest part. So the frustration that you do have, you got to sit with it at times and find other ways. Therapy, meditation, yoga, Walmart carts on the back of people's heels, whatever it takes, right?
You do you.
Whatever it takes. But yeah, I definitely have taken something that was happening in the home to work with me and took it out on somebody else.
What about the flip side of that? Something that happened in a game, you didn't like it, didn't like the way you played. Did you ever take that home?
Yes. Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
You're a human being.
No, like, you have no choice. Like, if you had a bad game or maybe you get your face punched in, like, you are not happy at all. Like, I'm leaving that rink looking for a way to redeem myself.
Yeah.
And then when you have kids and the kids don't understand and, like, oh, Daddy, you had a great game. Dad was -5. We may have to pack our bags tomorrow.
I'll be honest, that's the worst part when people tell you good game and you play like crap.
Yes.
Like, you're like, good game. No, it wasn't. What the hell are you watching? Did you even watch the damn game?
You're not my friend.
What are you talking about? I was terrible. No, good game, good game. Shut up. Leave me alone.
It was not a good game.
I do have to think, though, that like going home to your kids, even though you did have a bad game and them not really knowing the situation, that has to like feel good, though, because they still love you and they appreciate you whether or not you played bad.
So you're right. Okay. So I will say this. I would leave the rink, leave the locker room, and I would always be so furious. Like hair trigger, like one thing. It would just like, I want to bury somebody. You get to the family room, the kids are there, the bench, they're annoying the hell out of you at that point because you're still angry.
Right.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And you just get in the car.
You're talking to the guy that crow hopped his kids' toys into neighbor Dave's lawn once.
Exactly. So then the ride home.
Gone down at home.
The ride home is not fun. But then, like, you get home and you're sitting there at one point, and your kids are still happy to see you. If you got a dog, the dog's wagging his tail. It doesn't know you're -5. It doesn't care. And after you're like, okay. And then the kids are like, can we watch one show before we go to bed? And you're like, sure, put it on. And lives in the pineapple under the sea. And you're like, before you do all the little dances, and everything's gone.
This is what it's all about. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Thanks for the great questions for advice with former athletes. Marsh was talking about the Dodgers and, whether or not the Dodgers are the biggest issue. Or Marsh, you had said actually the NL Central, like are the Pirates, are they a problem, or the Reds a problem? And I'm like, I don't think the biggest hurdle for the Cardinals are any of those teams. So I'll tell you who is next on 101 ESPN. So, Jamie, we got our guy Stewie on the line. Stewie always has, helpful tips and things like that we need to think about. One of the things he wants to talk about today, though, is the weather, which, quite frankly, is awful outside. It's awful. So, Stewie, explain to us how we can take advantage of this weather right now, which is frigid.
You know, Anthony, in every circumstance is opportunity. And right now, sellers are like, where are the buyers? And all the agents are saying, hey, it's snow outside. People don't want to come out. People don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. They're just sluggish, and you're going to have to wait until the opportunity comes and the weather's better, and then you'll get more buyers. Well, if you're considering buying a house, maybe you should do it now. You got more leverage. We have an ESPN listener who wanted to buy a house for $450,000. The seller refused to sell at that price a month and a half ago. The house stayed in the market because a snowstorm came, then another snowstorm. All of a sudden now he's buying that house for $430,000. Seller has to go. Take the opportunity. If you're in the market, think about it. This is great outside. The sellers are shaking a little bit. They don't have the patience. They got to sell. Maybe you can get a better price at the better rates.
That's great advice.
Great call.
It really is. And if you're looking outside right now, maybe the perfect time to go buy that house because somebody's sitting there panicking, and all you got to do is call our guy, Stewie. He'll help you through the entire process. His personal cell phone number is 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
Call our guy, text our guy, make him your guy. That's our guy, Stewie. And if you can't remember that number, Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a great night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Fastline on 101 ESPN. So we're having a pre-show meeting. We're talking about the Cardinals and talking about kind of the NL Central being better, perhaps, with the Reds and the Pirates even. Better. Got the Cubs better than it has been. And Marsh, you had asked a question like, hey, the Cubs being good now.
Marshy actually kind of declared he's a bit of a Cubs fan.
Whoa! Those are serious allegations.
You said in your life to me, including earlier today,
What?
we're going to break those blue glasses. The blue season's kind of over.
Wow.
I didn't mean to say that. He's attacking two St. Louis teams in one segment.
Wow.
Marsh, clarify.
Wow. Want to burn a Battlehawks jersey while you're at it?
Oh,
Come on
Marsh.
now. I don't like the Cubs. In fact, I hate the Cubs.
The way you said it was like, hey, the Cubs are good.
Well, on paper, they are better.
Say it.
He did say that.
They are better on paper.
I'm going to go back to the window.
Anyways, we have the conversation what's the real hurdle here? The Cubs now, they went through they had their championship window open and then it closed and now it's open again. Is that a problem? Yeah, it's a problem. But for me, the Cardinals' biggest hurdle is the Cardinals right now. I can't even look to the Dodgers are so far, they're not in the same hemisphere, right? I don't even think the teams in the division are an issue. The Cardinals are the issue. And if the Cardinals don't look at themselves to say, how can we improve us first? It doesn't matter what the Cubs, the Reds, or even how the Pirates do. It matters what they do. They have to fix this internally, which is credit to them. They're trying to in a year, I guess, because this season feels weird.
Why?
It seems like a very neutral, we don't really know what we're doing. We're just going to sit out a year.
Yeah, but we'll still put a team on the field.
Oh, yeah, they're going to put a team on the field, right.
We just don't know what it looks like.
Yeah. But I think if they don't fix themselves internally, you can't get now to comparing yourself to the rest of the division, let alone the big dogs in the National League. That's where I'm at least.
Yeah, I agree. The Cardinals don't have an identity at all this year. They just don't. It's not pitching. It's not defense. You let a Gold Glover walk out the door from first base, which is probably the right thing to do. I'm not even angry about that. But I'm just saying, if it's not pitching, if it's not defense, it certainly isn't offense. You don't even know who your big bopper is. Contreras.
Who's your cleanup hitter?
Probably Contreras. Well, no, the cleanup hitter will be Nolan Arenado. We already know that.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
There you go.
I do.
Yeah. See? Now it's answered.
But we don't know.
Stuck for that long time?
There you go. Right.
But we don't know what kind of season he's going to have either.
Right.
So you clearly don't have an identity. So you can't even fathom what you might be in this division or overall because you're like, I don't really know what we are.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals,
I completely agree.
I think they're going to surprise some people. I think they're going to be better than what people think. Not as bad as
over or under 80 wins.
Over.
I could see that.
I could see 83 wins.
Do you accomplish anything?
Oh, you're going to celebrate that, are you?
I didn't say it's a celebration. I didn't say that.
We celebrated it last year.
No.
What does an accomplishment look like for the Cardinals this year?
I think over 80 games.
88 wins.
What?
88? You said what's an accomplishment?
You're calling it a
83
playoff
is
team?
not. 83 is you did enough.
88. You're in. You're in.
There you go.
No.
So
why do you do this to yourself?
Hold on. So 3 wins.
By the way,
83
Marcy,
wins.
clip that, okay? 88 wins.
83 wins. You're telling me there aren't 5 games throughout 162 games where you could find a way to win another game?
But your team may have gotten worse.
I'm shocked they won 83 last year.
Exactly. So if you find a way
to win 5 more,
to win 5 more.
No, Carey, you don't believe that.
You could. You could be 77, 78. It's possible.
I was setting the bar at 80 wins. If you get 80 wins or above, I would consider that to be a successful season.
Well, and there's some, moral victories there, too, if the young guys do well.
Yeah.
Well, you might have a full year of Contreras if he stays healthy. Yeah. Maybe your pitching is a little bit better. Maybe some guys get injured and other opportunities
now,
arise.
when you say, yeah, okay, all right. So when you're saying the pitchers get better, you're not necessarily talking about the projected starting 5.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
That's why he said somebody gets injured.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for it.
Or maybe 2 somebodies get injured.
Maybe.
And somebody gets traded.
Wow.
I mean, it could happen.
What?
Who are you trading?
Whoever
you know who I'm trading.
I don't know who you're trading. From the starting rotation?
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to be able to trade him, though.
He's talking about Fetty.
That still could be tough. What are you getting back?
I'm not worried about it.
Batting gloves?
Tommy Pham.
Oh, that's...
Tommy Pham.
Bring him back.
Hey, third time's a charm, right?
Maybe.
No. So when you're talking about starting pitching, you're talking about the young guys.
Yes.
Eventually getting their opportunity, pitching well.
Yeah.
You're good with that.
I think you could win 5 more games. I think it's possible. I think it's also possible that you could lose 5 more games. I think that's the big question with this team is what are we actually going to see this year? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of question marks, but I think that's what makes it so dramatic, right? Like it makes it so interesting because we really don't know. We really don't. Like we have expectations of this team being not good.
Yeah.
But maybe they could surprise us.
I don't have expectations of them being not good. I think they're going to be right in and around what they were last year.
I kind of feel the same way.
Here's a text from the 636. How can we say this team is worse than last year when we had when we have the same team as last year minus one player, who you talked about, Paul Goldschmidt, and got rid of a couple of pitchers and hopefully replaced them with better options. So if you bring back the same team, essentially, minus, you're moving Wilson Contreras to first base. We don't know what that's going to look like. He's probably not going to be Gold Glove level. But if he is,
Some say he'll be fine.
Yeah. Fast lane fine.
That's what I think.
Okay, well, throw the ball to him and don't throw it in the dirt. How about that?
Sometimes you have to.
Do you think the biggest problem with this team could be their bullpen? Like no Kittredge anymore. I feel like he was a big part of your bullpen last year.
I think the biggest problem with this team will be the defense.
The defense
and the starting
pitching.
pitching.
Is better.
Huh? What?
You don't think the defense other than first base?
I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Cardinals.
No. Oh. What did you think I was talking about?
The Dodgers or somebody. I don't know.
I guess first base.
Cardinals defense.
First base and catching are the 2 biggest problems right now, don't you think?
Absolutely.
And then right field,
and then
depending on who plays.
Right. Yeah, just start from catcher and then
work your way down the first base line.
And then that's the issue. And then if you go to center field, center
really
field
good.
won't be a problem.
That's good.
But you might be starting your 3rd best defensive center fielder.
That's dumb. You should be starting Michael Ciani or Victor Scott. That's my opinion. If you're going to struggle in some areas, Victor Scott, Ciani to me was on pace to be a Gold Glove winner had he had played enough games. He was playing outstanding.
Yeah.
And you can bat him 9th and live with it. You know, you played a lot of years with Yadier Molina being your catcher because you knew he was going to do what behind the plate, be outstanding, and you didn't worry about what his bat did. Eventually it came around. Right. So Ciani or Scott is starting in center field. Whichever one of those guys, pick one. To me, they're one and the same. They both are really, really good players. Whichever one hits better, then go with him. But Lars should be in left field.
I don't disagree, but I wonder if they're going to shake things up because of getting Gorman at bats and Burleson at bats, and they shake things up a little bit. Jason gave me the eye roll. He's the one that doesn't like my Contreras take. Jason, I hope you're right. I hope Contreras is
he's going to be outstanding.
A great first baseman.
This guy's great. Yeah, I love Wilson.
I do.
First base, playing first base is easy. Tell him, Ron.
It's terribly
incredibly hard.
Well, Chris Pratt did it, so
that's true.
There you go.
But Chris Pratt also tamed Raptors, so I mean, I don't.
He did. He did.
You know,
and he saved the Galaxy too.
Well, he had to because
Right.
the A's didn't pay him very much.
Exactly. He had multiple jobs, including working on Site B there at Jurassic World. Yeah. So, I mean, you're telling me Chris Pratt could do it.
How insane was that, by the way? Like, we're just going to overlook that?
That he just stopped.
The one guy tried. Got his arm eaten off.
What?
Eaten off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's riding a motorcycle with raptors in the woods. Like, how does that motorcycle not flip over?
Have you not seen Ewoks in the woods with the little ships zipping through there? Come on.
He was there with them when they were born.
Yeah.
It's not like he just jumped in and decided, hey, I'm going to tame raptors. He nurtured them. He developed them.
That matters.
Did you not see the whole documentary?
Unfortunately, I watched all 3 of them.
Unbelievable.
That's what he did. He brainwashed.
You know what? I don't like the fact that you're talking about being a Cubs fan, but I will not stand here. I will not stand here and have you crush the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World series.
No, Jurassic World, let's be honest here. Jurassic World. But you know what? Much like the Cardinals, we have something new coming here in 2025. We got a new Jurassic World movie coming.
I don't want you to
and
watch
we got a new Cardinals team coming.
I don't want you to watch it.
I'm going to watch it.
I forbid you.
I'm going to watch it.
All right, we got the Gauntlet. We're a little late. Now we have a returning Gauntlet contestant.
Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie.
Oh, yeah, things got all screwed up. Yeah,
What happened?
We had to pause.
What I missed?
Jamie beat Hal yesterday.
Good job. Who did Robbie beat?
Me and Anthony.
Yeah, so you two
Anthony
are
and
up.
I.
Good luck, Carey.
When was this?
Robbie's next on 101 ESPN. Been talking about Underdog Fantasy being available in our state. That's right. Underdog Fantasy is available to play in Missouri, so you can cash in on all of your hot sports takes. So if you feel as though that a certain college basketball, NBA player, or NHL player will go higher or lower on his stats, you can play at Underdog Fantasy. And it's that simple, right? So you say, higher on a certain player's point total, or maybe you're like, you know what, this rebound number is a little too high. I'm gonna go lower on a certain player's rebound total. You could go NHL players and NBA and college basketball if you want. So you're sitting there on a Saturday, you're watching all these sports. You can combine different sports at Underdog Fantasy, and you can play as little as $1. And if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog Fantasy. Their app has over 100K 5-star reviews and millions of players. It's a lot of fun. I've done it. It's a lot of fun to play. You can download the Underdog app, sign up using my promo code Anthony, and then you're going to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with my promo code Anthony. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit at Underdog Fantasy. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado, and some games 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
Time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane, where it's 4:08. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and after a pause, we welcome back Robbie. What's up, Robbie?
Oh man, I'm just out here making snow angels in my Speedo like normal. But,
okay.
I'm ready for the game.
Seems like a normal Tuesday for you, Robbie.
All right.
It sure is.
Attaboy, Robbie. Get some.
All right, so you've already beaten Marsh and me. Would you like to take on CD or Jamie?
I'm going to do CD today.
Okay.
Oh, today, he says,
Which means
he's planning on dusting
All
you.
right.
Carey Davis. We'll head to the cone of silence right now.
Robbie.
All right, Robbie, go ahead. Tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
All right, Marsh, spin that wheel.
All right, Carey's heading into the cone of silence right now. Robbie, what category are you looking for?
Man, I don't know. I feel like I should be rooting for random again because it's done me pretty good these last 2 days. But then again, it can turn around and bite me too. So I'll take what I get.
Well, you're getting random.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Good Lord.
You beat Marsh last week in random. You beat me in random. And now you have an opportunity to face Carey in random trivia.
Wow.
Okay. The wheel is giving you random here. 4 questions, all random, all worth 2 points, Robbie, unless you ask for the options. Thank you, Marsh. If you ask for the options, those questions are worth 1 point. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Question 1. Who revolutionized the art of glass blowing? Who revolutionized the art of glass blowing?
Blowing.
Yeah.
I will have no clue. You better give me the options on that.
All right. Was it Andy Warhol, Tony Smith, or Dale Chihuly?
I'll take the last one.
Dale Chihuly?
Yep.
Final answer?
You got it.
Question 2. What is Paddington Bear's favorite conserve? Meaning sweet spread.
Oh, yeah. That's marmalade.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Question number 3. Can you name the president responsible for installing the first iron cook stove in the White House?
It's well known.
These are brutal.
That's a great one. Iron cook stove in the White House. All right, let's hear those options.
Options are Millard Fillmore, Andrew Johnson, or William Howard Taft.
I'll go for the first one, Fillmore.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Robbie, final question. Identify the winningest alpine skier in history.
The winningest alpine. Oh, man. I'm going to swing this one and say Lindsey Vonn.
Okay, final answer on that?
Final answer.
All right, let's bring in Carey. How you feeling, Robbie?
Oh, not great.
Dude, whoever did these.
I thought these were relatively easy.
Oh, good, Jim.
So we had, I believe it was T-Bone walked in yesterday and replaced the random questions and said, good luck for the next time you get random.
Okay.
So either T-Bone read them and he threw up, or he made them and threw up. Yeah.
Carey, by the way, as of right now, it's random.
gosh.
Yes. Carey's back with us.
All right.
Carey, I'll save myself. Pack a lunch. Here we go. Question number 1. Who revolutionized the art of glass blowing? Who revolutionized the art of glass blowing?
Options.
Andy Warhol, Tony Smith, or Dale Chihuly?
This is C. Andy Warhol, final answer.
Question 2. What is Paddington Bear's favorite conserve, meaning sweet spread?
Honey? Final answer.
Honey, question mark. Final answer. Okay.
Question number 3. Can you name the president responsible for installing the first iron cook stove in the White House?
Oh, my gosh. Options.
Options are Millard Fillmore, Andrew Johnson, or William Howard Taft.
Oh, Taft got stuck in a bathtub, if I'm not mistaken. Miller Fillmore, and who was the other one?
Andrew Johnson.
So
Can you read the answers one more time for me?
You want me to read the answer?
The options.
You almost got me on that one.
Can you read the options for me one more time?
So the options are Millard Fillmore, Andrew Johnson, or William Howard Taft.
Oh, Andrew Johnson feels like that's too far along. William Howard Taft. You just know him for the tub. Miller Fillmore, final answer.
All right, Carey, last question. Identify the winningest alpine skier in history.
Shaun White, final answer. That's a guess, but it sounds right.
Is he a skier or a snowboarder? I just don't know.
That's the lady. What's her name? Damn it. Thanks, Jamie. Lindsey Vaughn.
What's he called?
The Flying Tomato.
I was say the sweet tomato. That's just wrong.
Just Mountain Dews, baby.
Alrighty.
All right, let's go over these.
See how that goes.
CD versus Robbie. Can you name the president responsible for installing the first iron cook stove in the White House? Robbie, you said Millard Fillmore. Carey, you also went with Fillmore. Correct answer is
good old Millsy, Millard Fillmore.
Right. Surprisingly, you both needed the options.
Oh, that was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah. 1-1 tie between Carey and Robbie. Identify the winningest alpine skier in history. Robbie went with Lindsey Vaughn.
Who is a skier?
Carey went with Shaun White, the snowboarder.
Well, he's won a lot, Anthony.
In fairness, Shaun White has also skied.
Can I tell y'all something? I'm a black man. It's skiing and snowboarding. It's all the same to me.
It's all done on snow.
You're black?
Yeah. See, we don't see colors. See,
there you go.
So.
All right.
Cage odd male.
Right?
Oh, man.
Anyway. Correct answer is that's Michaela Schifrin. Michaela Schifrin is the correct answer.
Isn't she?
Sure.
All of a sudden, you know that.
I think she is.
Wait a minute.
Did I make that up?
Yeah.
I think she's from St. Louis.
How do you know that? He just drops on us, well, I'm a black man. I don't do the skiing. And then he knows, she's from St. Louis.
She was born in Vail, Colorado. Yeah.
See, I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, St. Louis is the new New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right.
Just like Ohio's the new Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Score check 1-1. 1-1 between Robbie and CD.
Yeah.
Who revolutionized the art of glass blowing? CD with the options went Andy Warhol. Robbie with the options went with Dale Chihuly. Correct answer is
Dale Chihuly.
I should have known. I've never even heard him.
Robbie did need the options on that one, so Robbie takes a 2-1 lead.
Wallace Cream gets it. Vail is a suburb of St. Louis.
Yeah, it's just outside.
Yeah, way outside.
Comes down to this. What is Paddington Bear's favorite conserve, meaning sweet spread? Carey went with honey. Actually, he said, honey? Final answer? So Carey said honey. Robbie went with marmalade.
Without the options.
without the options. Carey, if you're right, you win. Robbie, if you're right, you win. As long as it's not honey, you win anyways.
All right. Let me
Robbie.
grab my stuff.
You have chosen wisely.
Correct answer is... Oh, it's actually marmalade. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Robbie wins 4-1. Robbie will be back tomorrow to take on Jamie Rivers for a Gauntlet trophy.
Another one.
And Carey will head to the penalty box. Man. Robbie, nice job. Your random's your category.
Smoking.
All right, Jim Carey.
The mask, Rob? Wow. Okay.
All right, Robbie.
Random tomorrow.
Yeah.
Robbie's a random king.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, Robbie. Nice job.
Back to the snow in your Speedo.
Yep.
Thanks. See you tomorrow, guys.
Oh man, Carey, I'm not even going to give you a hard. I'm not even going to give you a hard time on that one. That was rough. Like that. That was.
I don't know if I would have known one of those.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, even with the options.
Nah.
Rumor has it that Paddington 2 is one of the best movies ever made.
Really?
Who said that?
I heard about it in a movie.
Was that like Ted or something?
No, I don't think so.
That Paddington there.
Paddington 2.
All right.
Pretty good.
We're going to do part one of the Sports Six-Pack. Carey, of course, going to do it from the penalty box. If you got a question, 314-399-9646. Part one of the Sports Six-Pack is next. Your next new ride is available at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. If you've been frustrated by other dealerships not having what you're looking for, selection isn't there, maybe color or some of the, the features aren't there for the vehicles, you got to check out Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They have over 700 vehicles, new and used, all in one location. So you're bound to find your next new ride at Auto Centers, whether you're looking for brand new Nissans like the Rogue or the Pathfinder or maybe an Altima. They've got them there. If you're looking for a used vehicle that is not a Nissan, but you want a wide selection, again, Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they've got everything for you. 700 new and used vehicles. New Nissans discounted up to $10,000 off with sales prices starting under $23,000 on select models. They've got the heavily discounted prices on every vehicle in stock because they got their Love at First Drive sales events going on throughout the month of February. With that, 2025 Nissan models come with a free lifetime warranty and 3 free oil changes. Plus, get peace of mind coverage with their 30-day return promise. And they've got financing options for everyone that walks through the door, whether you've got credit issues or you're stuck in a current loan. Auto Centers Nissan, they're confident that anyone that walks through the doors can drive away in a brand new Nissan. So go check them out in Herculaneum or online at autocentersnissan.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
All right, time for the Sports Six Pack here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers and Carey Davis from the penalty box. Carey, how are you? You got us back there?
Yeah, I got y'all. I can't.
Carey, why don't you take some of your hangers home?
Oh, well.
Yeah, this isn't your personal closet.
Actually, your hangers. Why? You going to put them in your bag here?
Nah.
Wow, Jamie, why don't you take that whole spot back there, kid?
Ashley, too, is like, we're running out of hangers. I'm like, I have no idea why.
That's
They're all
weird.
at work.
Damn kids taking the hangers.
Like kids for sure.
All right, Marsh, what's question one?
Question number one.
First one comes from Grant Francis Fan Club. Elliot Friedman reported that there is a lot of noise around the Blues right now. Aside from Brayden Schenn, what are some other moves we might see?
I think Jamie ran down the whole list of opportunities.
Yeah,
or options.
I mean,
if you're moving Schenn,
it's a chain of what the
chain of events.
Chain of events.
Chain reaction.
Chain reaction. That's it. Thank you, Carey
Domino
Davis
effect
from the
Chain
penalty.
Reaction's a great show on the Game Show Network.
Chain reaction. It is.
Yeah. So I don't know what else. Like, teams are going to call about Binnington. They're going to call about Parayko. They're going to call about Brayden Schenn. A couple teams might call about Justin Falk or Nick Leddy. Somebody might call on Ryan Suter just to shore up their defense if they're trying to make a run at it. But I don't see anything that's like imminent. Like I just don't know what deal moves the needle for the Blues. Because if you make a deal with one of those guys, again, I feel like you're looking at a rebuild then. It's just my opinion. So I don't think that there's anything imminent. Yeah, there's lots of noise, of course. Who wouldn't want to add a Colton Parayko to their blue line?
Sure.
Or a Brayden Schenn to their third line as a centerman. Like, there's lots of things that the Blues have that teams would like, but then I don't know where it leaves the Blues.
Question number two.
From the Waterboy, if the Blues aren't your front runner to win the Stanley Cup, then who are you currently leaning towards? Will Coach Berube win another Stanley Cup?
I just don't believe in that team in Toronto. I just don't. I just don't think they have the jam to do it. I think that Craig Berube's done a real good job with that team, but I look through the roster and they're so top heavy. Their bottom six forwards are like mid. Their last pair of defense are not good. And Morgan Riley, who's their number one defenseman, he's not even a number one defenseman on other teams. So, and the goaltending will always be a question mark. The two guys that they have right now are having really good seasons. They're doing great. Local boy Joseph Wool having a great season as well. But they're unproven. Both guys are unproven. So I don't see the Leafs as far as one of those teams. I got the Panthers again, man. That team is just built for playoff hockey in their first place again in the Atlantic, ahead of the Leafs and the Lightning. I just don't see a team in the Eastern Conference beating the Panthers. So that's my pick.
They're so well balanced. I think they're ranked fifth right now in goals per game. They're second in shots per game. They got a strong defense. I think they're like 13th against in points allowed. I mean, the Panthers were the first team that I thought of. I think the Carolina Hurricanes are really good too. I mean, that's another well-balanced team.
They are, but they never seem to be able to get over the hump. Every year they have these good teams.
Well, good thing I mentioned the Panthers first, then, huh, Jamie?
I'm just talking out loud. I thought we were allowed to. I thought it was an open discussion.
No, it's not. Yeah. Good call.
Question number three.
Gary, your thoughts there?
Oh, I was just thinking. Yep. Panthers.
Okay.
Oilers. Finals.
Stars.
Stanley Cup final again.
Stars would be a good one. They were right there last year.
Yes, they were.
From the 636, Carey and Jamie.
Yes.
How does it feel to know that the team you are playing for is looking to trade you? And yes, I got the idea for this question from the Arenado offseason saga.
Jamie, you wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, I would. The one time that I knew was when I was with Ottawa. And that I have nothing but respect for Marshall Johnson, who is a GM. when he signed me to play with the Senators, they had a bunch of injuries, and they needed a veteran guy to come in. Everybody was healed up for year 2 of my contract with the Senators. The writing was kind of on the wall, and he kind of asked me, like, where would you like to go? I can try to help out here. And I just said, well, who's calling about me? If a team's calling about me, that means, in essence, you'd think they want you.
Yeah.
And if they want you, that means they have a plan for you. And he said, well, I've had a number of conversations with the Boston Bruins, and I was like, see if you can make it work. If you can make it work, I'm good. And I was fine with it. It didn't bother me at all. I got home that day, called my then wife, and said, hey, we probably going to pack up here. Probably going to be traded. And yeah, it's emotional a little bit. Told my parents, my brother, I'm leaving Ottawa at that point. It's my hometown. Everybody's kind of down about it a little bit. But then once the trade happened, it's a new opportunity. It was a great team. We were a first-place team in the Eastern Conference and had a great season. And so things worked out.
I was never traded. I think Pittsburgh was trying to trade me before they let me go, which I would have gladly have taken being traded and being released. But, it's part of the business. You understand that's how it goes. I said this last week. I think very few people get an opportunity to decide their future. And that's why when Nolan Arenado says, I don't want to go to this place, you tip your cap and say, oh, good for him. Because most of us don't get that opportunity to decide if we're going to stay in a specific place if the team wants to move on from you. So, I think the thing about being traded, that means somebody else does want you. So you kind of look at it from that viewpoint and say, hey, all right, this team doesn't want me anymore, but this team does want me. Let me go be where I'm wanted rather than where I'm tolerated.
All right, let's we'll do our second Sports Six Pack next. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Sports Six Pack Part 2 next. And Carey, you've served your penalty.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Appreciate it.
Get back in here. Sports Six Pack Part 2 next. Jamie, I went down to Mentality today, and I love going down there because it means that I'm operating at my best. You would talk to me about Mentality because I asked you, I'm like, Jamie, man, you look great, dude. What's the secret? You look good. You're feeling good. What's the deal? And you said, you know what, BT talked to me about Mentality. I'm going to bring you down there. And you did. You literally brought me down to Mentality. Mm-hmm. We went to the Chesterfield location that day, and it was an easy process. I sat down, talked to the same group of outstanding people that you did. They asked me simple questions. Do you feel run down? Do you feel irritable? Do you feel like your workouts, you're maximizing your workouts? No. Do you feel at your best? Nope. Great. Do you want to draw the blood? Turns out, just like you, low on testosterone, low on some other vitamins, jumped on their program, which was just specific for me because you had your own program. And, man, I have felt great ever since. I really have.
Nothing sucks more than not feeling like you should. And as men, you go through your teenage years, your 20s, your 30s, you feel like testosterone for days. But it's inevitable that testosterone starts to lower as you get older. It just happens. It's part of the way it is. But you can change that by heading over to Mentality and feeling like you did before. And that's the best feeling about it. Now you're happier, you're in a better mood, you're feeling better, looking better, you're a better husband, a better father, whatever it is, because you're back to those energy levels and you're actually happy with yourself too. And that's really what Mentality does. They give you the chance to be happy, and that's what they've done for me and you. So please stop by, visit both locations, either one for that matter. Tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. Specifically say that. they'll take care of you. They always do have a little special something for you when you say that. Visit them in person. But if not, you can always get more information or visit all of their other stuff that they've got available at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. USA lost to Sweden last night in the Four Nations face-off by a final score of 2-1. It does not matter, though, because the United States will be taking on Canada on Thursday for the Four Nations face-off championship. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. If you have missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our full shows there. That's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have part 2 of the Sports Six Pack coming up next. So get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Part 2 of the Six Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
Part 2 of our Sports Six Pack right now here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646. If you have a question, still some time to get one in. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter, and here's Andrew Marsh.
Question number 4.
From Bojangles. Jamie, what you said in regards to your Ottawa trade situation, is that relatable and applicable to the everyday citizen moving cities?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, most people don't get traded from job to job. Sometimes you get laid off and there's a different job opportunity. Although there are some times where the company you work for might ask you to go to a different city to help expand the brand in that area. Yeah, for me, it was always about just continuing to do what I love and continuing to do it to the best of my ability. And whatever the ask was, I was ready to do it. And I think that that's applicable in everyday life, is that if you're working somewhere and the company needs you to do it, that you do it, and you do it to the best of your ability. I always wanted to do the best job possible, be the best at my position. And I knew that wasn't true. Like, it couldn't happen. Like, there's better players. But when you go in there every day with that frame of mind of being the best at it, you help the team / the company, whatever business you work for or whatever team you're playing for. And that's what you want, is you want employees / players, teammates to go to the office or to the rink every day. And one, it's all about the team, number one. So it's all about the business. And two, bring your A game every single day.
From a non-sports perspective, too, Anthony, you've moved
a
lot. You know, you lived in like 20 different cities, but moving here to St. Louis, how nerve-wracking was that?
It was very nerve-wracking because I don't know. I didn't move for I didn't have a job lined up. I was dating my now wife, Kristen, and, you know, it's just kind of a leap of faith that I was going to find something. But, yeah, it's just a matter of getting your foot in the door. And like Jamie said, there's a lot of comparisons here. Just get your foot in the door and do what your boss doesn't want to do, quite frankly, or do what your immediate supervisor doesn't want to do.
Or do what the guy before you wasn't willing to do.
Exactly. Like, find the thing that the team, quote unquote, or the job needs you to do. And that's my advice. You know, sometimes I'll talk to high school kids that are interested in sports media or college kids. I always say the same thing. My advice is always consistent. It's always, if you get an interview, get your foot in the door. I pass out free T-shirts. I was a part of the street team way back in the day in Detroit. I did that for a couple of months before I felt comfortable asking one of their producers if I could merely just sit in. Mm-hmm. Can I sit in? Can I watch you run the board? Can I watch how you run a show? I did it on my dime. It was free, and it was out of the generosity of the producer. So I sat there, and I just observed, and I took a bunch of notes. Well, that turned into, well, let me show you this. Let me show you that. And before you know, within 6 months or so, they called me and said, hey, nobody wants to run the Sunday night baseball game. Nobody's in the building. You're not making a bunch of money. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody's got kids and, you know, the home lives and whatever. I'm like, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. So that I turned that, you know, street team job into a job doing the Sunday night producing. Then I said, okay, what's the next thing that nobody wants to do? Well, nobody wants to do this, you know, whatever it was. And I just kept going that way. And eventually, if you got enough hard work and you got a little bit of skill, once you get that opportunity, then you crush it. But Jamie's right. I mean, there's what do you need? Mm-hmm. What do you need around here? As opposed to, I want to be on air. Do you have any qualifications?
Right.
Nope. Went to school though. Okay. Well, so did 487 million other kids.
So
you got to separate yourself from the herd.
Provide?
Yeah. The reason why I was able to even get on the air was because our former boss, Hoss, it was a job for a board op, and I applied for it. It said, you know, we'll teach you everything you need to know. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I applied for it, and I came in for the interview, and Hoss was like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. It's my first real interview. I don't know anything. I Googled questions that they ask and questions you ask.
Yeah,
this wasn't on the question list. I don't know. What the hell he's talking about.
Wait, you were trying to be a board op?
I was, yeah.
So you can run the board. All right,
I was
cool.
trying. I was like, I'm going to learn.
Marshy.
Yeah. And so he was like, you applied for a board? I was like, yeah. I said, and he's like, why? And I said, well, in my mind, if I'm in the building, eventually I'll learn how to do the other jobs, or I'll get an opportunity. I said, but I can't get the job that I want if I'm not in the building. So whatever job you have, I'll learn and I'll go through that now. And he was like, you know what? I like that mindset that you were willing to do that. He said, but you've played ball, you know, how about we just put you on air? I'll give you a 3-week trial run with Anthony Stalter and Michael Young. And that turned into a 3-week
old gorilla grip.
3-week trial.
Michael Young, not me.
Doing the Rams post game show that kind of flourished into filling in on shows and, you know, eventually being here full time. So it was the fact that I was willing to work a position that didn't require, that I didn't know anything about, and that they would teach me everything I needed to know. and he was impressed by that.
What's funny about that is, we've told this before, but I came in for one show with Anthony. Jeff Burton, rest in peace, Jeff, was the one who got me hooked up with Haas and said, hey, I think he'd be good. Come in, So I came in, had one show with Anthony, and it went really well. We had a great time. We had a great show. Our chemistry was good. And Anthony goes, well, just keep coming back till they tell you not to come anymore. And the reason it worked was because I did that whole couple of months. I was willing to work for free.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, this is my audition / building my resume. And I didn't, not that I didn't need the money. I mean, everybody wants money.
Of course. Yeah.
But for me, it was the opportunity was greater at that time to just be on air and to get comfortable and do things. And I wasn't getting any live reads. It's like there was no like dollar value attached to me. It was just the fact that Anthony and I were able to create some pretty good radio.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was during the Stanley Cup run.
And that was the Stanley Cup run.
It certainly helped, but it was much more than that. I mean, I remember the first thing that we did was that we argued over Marcelo Zuna for something. And I'm like, what are we doing? We got in the break. I go, dude, that was awesome. And the chemistry's off the charts, but it was the same thing with CD. I will say about any former athlete that I have worked with that has done this job have what you guys do, which is you don't come in and it's like, I know everything.
Yeah.
Because there are some former athletes that do, and they sit in those chairs and it's like, I've got this, I'm good. And they tell the same two stories and you're like, hey, did you catch so-and-so? I don't watch that. Okay. You're not going to do well. It's not going to work. Like, you don't think, I could talk for 10 minutes about sports. Okay, can you tell a story? Can it be compelling?
Can you actually
do you have
an
chemistry?
opinion?
Do you have an opinion? Do you listen to your co-host and Carey and Jamie and Michael Young and obviously Brad Thompson and the late great Chris Duncan? You guys all had the same thing. You guys had the work ethic too. It wasn't just I'm going to sit here and I'm a former athlete and go fast lane yourself.
But I think the common denominator and all that, or the common character trait, was that, Carey's a Super Bowl champion, but he wasn't Ben Roethlisberger. Right. He wasn't Antonio Brown. Like, he wasn't like Holly. Yeah. Neither was BT. Neither was I.
You guys are grinders.
Neither was Dunk. Neither was Michael Young. Like, nobody's like one of those guys you're like, oh, man. So we always had to work so hard at whatever we were doing so that work ethic just kind of carries over. Like, you don't expect the world to be given to you.
Yeah.
And in fact, you're kind of nervous at first because you want to make sure you're working hard enough. Yeah. Like, I remember how much work I did for the first week of shows, just diving in. I'm calling Jimmy Edmonds. I'm calling Izzy. I'm calling all sorts of, like, tell me about baseball. What's the most important thing I should be worried about here?
Right.
So I think that helps too, is
you care.
You have to be willing to work, whether you're a former NFL player or you're straight out of college. If you're willing to work hard, people will find a spot for you.
Absolutely. You have to sacrifice.
I think
you have to sacrifice.
Yeah, that's the part that I think a lot of people are not willing to do or unable to understand that that's a huge part of it. Yeah. Like, a lot of people just want to be given, here you go. If that's the case, you got to earn your spot to stay there, and that's sometimes harder than even getting into the spot. So, you do have to sacrifice. You do have to go and learn different things. When I first got on with the opening drive, I was calling Jamie, texting him, hey, tell me about Callie Rosen. Why is this? What's going on with this guy? Like, why is this guy not a Hall of Famer? What is he doing? Why is he not playing? Like, because what am I missing? Right? What are you? And he explained it to me. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So, there's certain things that if you are unsure of or unaware of, ask questions and be willing to be vulnerable too, because sometimes, especially it's like, I don't know what that guy to know. I don't know everything.
That's so true.
Yeah, right.
So true. I'll never forget like the very first couple weeks with Anthony, and not that you weren't used to it because you'd been doing so much radio, but like in the middle of something, I'd be like, well, why is that important? And he's like, look at me. I'm like, I don't know. Like, why? What? Right. And he'd be like, well, actually, okay.
That's a great question. All right, here's why.
Here's why it's important. So I always believe that if we have questions about what the hell we're talking about, so do the listeners.
Correct.
And they don't always have a voice to be like, what do you mean? Why is that important?
Right. James, that's really funny. There was a couple of times early on where you're like, now, why'd you do that? I'm like, who? What? Me? Like, why'd you do it that way? Why did you? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this guy's interested. Cool. No, this is why I did it. This is why I set it up this way. This is why I did that. I know you were going to go here, so this is why I set it up this but you were interested in that, which told me you cared, which is why I said, hey, If you're willing to work for free, just keep coming back. I'll tell the bosses you're just going to come back.
And as you guys know, well, Anthony, you know very well, and Carey, all of you know now, like my way of doing radio is unorthodox. Right? Because I'm not trained, so I don't have the cookie cutter way of doing radio. And I know that at first that was not part of our problem for chemistry. I think it actually was great for the chemistry. It was new. It was kind of different.
Yeah.
You were doing a different kind of radio because you're with a guy who's like, I don't know where the hell this guy's going.
Right. Right. But it was
we
good,
still
though.
do that, though, Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've always said this. The reason why I'm on air is in large extent because of Chris Duncan, because of Jamie Rivers, because of Carey Davis. You guys being the personnel you allow me to unlock, the Ranthony thing and all that stuff. Like, you guys embrace that. That's, like, we're just three psychopaths and a really good kid that's hard worker.
He's so nice, man.
So nice.
He's just trying not to
really
sour him
intelligent. He keeps us employed. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You guys are really good role models,
Hey, Marshall.
Of what not to do.
You're welcome.
Well, also, that mindset you bring up, I think that plays well in this city, too. Like, where you were as an athlete, you talk about being a grinder and whatnot, but then putting in the work to be where you're at now. I think that embodies the people of St. Louis and the amount of work they put in their everyday job.
Yeah. Well, good questions, guys. I mean, it is funny. Like, sometimes you don't realize if you're a listener, like, how the hell did you get here?
Yeah.
So.
I just showed up one day.
Yeah,
I was knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I was knocking on the door with my ring. Hey,
I'm here.
I'm here. Let me in.
Carey. Like,
Where are we? Before long, me, Carey, Michael, we're doing NFL draft coverage for 8 straight hours.
How did we go 12 minutes on one question?
Yeah. That's damn good. All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. I want to talk about this. So, all right. Carey, you ready?
Oh, gosh.
You ready?
Yeah.
Carey's got a rant.
Yeah.
And it's a great one. And we only caught like 30 seconds of it. And we told him, save it.
Yeah.
Carey wants to rant about something next that's phenomenal. Here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and I want you all to be safe driving out there. The weather is getting a little crazy, but if you do have a little bit of a fender bender, my good friends at All Things Appearance can help you out. They can cover all things auto-related, from small scratches to major body work, whether it's standard maintenance, detailing, ceramic coating, paint, dent repair, collision repair. All those things are covered there. My friend Jeff, the owner, wants you to know to come in and talk with them. They'll help you out. They'll work with you. You can reach out to them at 636-248-5051 or online at allthingsappearance.com. And that number that I just gave you is Jeff's personal number. He texted me today. He wanted me to let you know that in certain situations, they do offer pickup and delivery for your vehicle. And also, they will work with your warranty company, your insurance company, help you with that deductible. If there is something that you need done that you feel like is going to cost you too much, he wants to get you on the road, and that is the most important thing to him and his company, to make sure that their customers are taken care of and they're driving and their vehicle is good to go. So reach out to him today. Again, that's 636-248-5051 or online at allthingsappearance.com.
Our guy Carey Davis came back from his NBA All-Star weekend vacation, and one thing got him fired up.
Yeah.
And it was his Illinois Fighting Illini.
The upside down jersey?
Brad Underwood.
Well, we don't even need to get started. That pissed me off, too. Because this young man has been through the damn fire. Yeah, just all the things that happened to him last year. Terrence Shannon Jr., possibly a lottery pick, had to miss 6 or 7 games last year because of a crime that he was accused of that was nowhere near being truthful. And missed time, team suffered, and then you unveil his jersey and the damn thing is upside down. Somebody, Jamie, you needed to be there. You know why? You know what you do when people do things wrong. What do? You fire them.
I was going to say, you can't say it over the air, Carey.
Well, no, you fire them.
That too.
That too. When people get the gauntlet questions wrong.
Yeah, they're fired automatically.
Somebody, and it's a mistake, but it's a terrible mistake. But that's neither here nor there, right? That's only part of my problem. I feel bad for that young man. I watched a damn basketball game, Anthony. I was sitting in my hotel room. Me and my son had a lovely day. With Saturday, we go to the breakfast, the NBA breakfast. We were around Bill Cartwright, former Chicago Bull.
Yeah.
Festus Ezeli, Chris Broussard, a bunch of different guys, just people there doing this. Mason Plum, it's just great, good event. Go to that, take my son. We're walking around, we get some food. You know what, son? It's been a long day. Let's get back to the hotel. We're gonna watch some basketball. You got the NBA slam dunk and 3-point contest. So I'm flipping back and forth. I get to the Illinois game. I'm like, oh man, I've been waiting on this game because Illinois lost to Michigan State earlier this year by 2 points at Michigan State. Right, we're at home. 65-64, Anthony. 65-64. Remember the number 65.
Yeah.
Because Illinois was winning 65-64. They lost 79-65, Anthony. They didn't score a damn basket for 8 minutes and 29 seconds. How in the hell is that even possible? How do you go the last 9 minutes of a game? You know why? You know how? Because they missed 13 damn three-pointers.
How many shots did they take?
19, Anthony.
That's a lot of three-pointers.
0 for 19, 0 for 13 from behind the damn line. Not wide open jumpers. This is not catch and shoot. Nobody near you. These are contested jump shots. Nobody said, hey, let's get to the bucket. Brad Underwood, I've watched this man for years turn beet red in the face with anger, and he looks like he wants to strangle a child, but he doesn't. He keeps it under control, but he does a good job of keeping it. But at no point on Saturday did he turn beet red. I was more red than him, and I clearly am not supposed to be more red than him. Right? I'm sitting there watching this damn game, Brad, and your team don't go to the basket. 13 damn threes? Contested threes at that. You go 0 for 19 in the final 8 minutes and 29 seconds of a basketball game, and I don't know how you do this. I don't know how this is possible. You don't fall into a foul. You don't fall into free throws. You had a couple, you missed them. What are we doing, man? What the hell did I watch? I was like, I was so bothered. I had to text somebody. I said, what did I just watch? What am I watching?
I'd like to get your son online too and find out what he was witnessing as this was going on.
He was in the other room just like, he's on his phone playing whatever. I'm like, what are we doing? How are you winning by 1 point and then lose by 14? You don't score another point in the entire second half. Like, Anthony, you know how this does. What was it, a 30-0 run against Connecticut last year?
Yeah, UConn, my UConn Huskies.
You don't think you learned anything, damn, Brad?
Yeah, right. I mean,
come on, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get to the basket. Let's call a timeout. All right, fellas, you took enough threes. Don't take another one. Make some pick and roll. Let's get to the hoop. Let's get fouled.
Back to some basics
Let's get back to the. You are jacking up threes, and you went 0 for 13 behind the line, 0 for 19 in the second. Not in the second half. Just the last 9 minutes of a basketball game. You didn't score a point. Not
Is that bad?
Point. That ain't great, Jamie. You can't win if you don't damn score.
Yeah.
What the hell are they doing, man? Oh my God, I was so bothered. I'm still bothered. That was 3 days ago. Get to the bucket, man. Get a foul.
Yeah.
Play defense. Get a steal. Get an offensive rebound. Put back. You're
basketball.
7 feet tall. You're 6'10". You're right there, man.
Right.
It's got to be much easier than me trying to put a ball back in the basket against seven footers.
You would think.
Right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
They haven't changed the hoop, the distance between the floor and the hoop, right?
8 minutes and 29. I was like, this is a good game, man. We're up. And I'm just watching because I'm kind of flipping back and forth. I'm like, wait, let me lock in on this game. Why do they keep shooting threes? What the hell are they doing?
Well, I think
Steph Curry did it.
Well, he's Steph damn Curry. And he'll shoot it from half court where it's not contested.
Right.
At least. If you're going to shoot it from there. Nobody's in your damn face. How about that? Make it easier on yourself.
Very true.
What the hell are y'all doing?
Carey, I think the best point you made was the fact that we saw this already.
We did. That's the part that's troubling.
We saw this.
Like you literally did
Like,
the
no,
same.
not up in here. This is not happening again.
You allowed Connecticut to go on was it 20 or 30?
I think it was 30.
30-0 run in an Elite 8 game.
I lost count.
And you did that. And here's the thing. But in his defense, now, I will give Brad Underwood credit. I think it's only one player returned from that team last year.
Still.
One
So it's
player.
a you problem.
It might be.
If you're not coaching it, you're allowing it.
Yeah, we did hear that.
Yeah.
Coach Venturi said that.
Okay, Carey, you feel better?
All right.
Yeah, you feel good.
Yeah.
Good. That was well worth it. All right. Now, let's get back to dumping on these Cardinals, huh? What's your main concern with these Cardinals? What's your main concern with the Cardinals? And here's the important question. What will change? What will have to change for you to not be concerned about it? So, like, for example, if the concern is the pitching staff, if by the end of May, the staff ERA is like in the threes, you're like, okay, good. I'm not concerned about that anymore. So what's your concern? And what would have to change? That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you're thinking about selling your home anywhere in the St. Louis area, now is not the time to take a chance on just any ordinary agent. It is time to sell your home, and you want certainty with that, and you want the most money guaranteed. And I recommend Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Look, Gloria already has the buyers, and what that means is her database is full of people who are looking to buy homes. And a lot of them are looking to buy a home that is in your price range. So that drives a lot more traffic to your listing, hopefully a lot more showings, and then maybe multiple offers, ultimately more money for you. And that's what Gloria does. She makes sure she prices your home at the exact price where you're going to get the most money, so the best value, but sell your home. And we're talking about this time of year being a tough time to sell a home. You have to price your home accordingly. And that's why you don't just try to figure it out on your own. You use the expert, and that's Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed. So please give her a call at 314-325-6888. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you, by the way. Again, that number, 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
9:07, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. What's your concern? What's your main concern about the Cardinals? And what is the one thing that, if it does happen, what has to happen, I should say, for you not to be concerned about it? So you're concerned right now, and what would need to happen in order for you to be like, you know what, that's no longer a concern?
I think my main concern is the rotation.
Same.
I just have no faith at all in any of them except for Sonny Gray. And I don't mean that, like I'm not being mean about it. Andre Palante, I thought, had himself a really solid year last year. And I'd love to see him duplicate that. But I think that's what Andre Palante is. Mm-hmm. Is high-end, a 4, but on a normal playoff-bound team, a 5. Sonny Gray is a 1 or a 2 on a playoff team, depending on what the team looks like. Unfortunately, the rest of the rotation just so inconsistent, whether it's the pitching inconsistent or being unable to stay healthy inconsistent like that. And I think the biggest question marks are those existing guys and then the young guys too. So the second part of your question, what would have to happen is McGreevy would have to pitch like he did last year, consistently. Graceffo would have to force himself into the conversation, and even Quinn Matthews. Where is he at? Like, all of a sudden, if he's part of the conversation, even though he doesn't stay, but if he's part of the conversation, I feel better about things moving forward.
I think obviously the rotation is a concern. Figuring out who is going to get the opportunity. I mean, if you're replacing Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn with Miles Michaelis and Steven Matz, are you making a replacement? Is it a better replacement or a worse replacement? I mean, I know Miles Michaelis was in the starting rotation last year, but you know what I'm saying. I think my concern is what's more important to this team. Is it going to be the defense, which, in my opinion, you have Siani and or Scott playing center field, or is it getting those bats in the lineup that way you can get Gorman and Newt Barr playing center field and make sure Burley has a role? Like, I think that's going to be the most important thing, figuring out which direction they're leaning every single day. You know, we're going to be better defensively than we are. We'll sacrifice some of the hitting for a better defensive output from the guys we have. So I think that's going to be interesting to watch and see how that plays out as well.
Mine is somewhat along the same lines as Jamie. You know, when we talk about the starting pitching, a little bit different of an angle, though. I think my main concern is if the young pitching doesn't work out in the way that we're hoping it to. Because then it seems like we're stuck in the same position where you have to rely on veteran pitchers to carry you throughout the season. And then all of a sudden you're looking at your minor league team or the minor league guys and the 4A guys or whatever, and you're like, man, these guys aren't the dudes that we thought they were going to be, and now we're back to square one where we have to develop pitching because these guys aren't showing that they're major league pitchers. That's my main concern. Do I think it'll happen? No, based on what we saw with like Michael McGreevy. I thought he looked great last year at the end of the year, but we never know. I also am concerned with how they essentially they bring these guys up. Like, are they in a bullpen role, and then all of a sudden, like, they need to stretch them out, and then they become the next Zach Thompson? Like, that is my main concern. What do I need to see for that not to be the problem? I guess I just need to see them look like major league starters.
Yeah.
You know, they don't need to have like a sub 2 ERA, but like they need to look like they belong in their opportunities. They need to take advantage of their opportunity.
Sure. I agree. If I was just going to pick out one like baseball aspect, I would say my biggest concern is the starting rotation, but Jamie kind of already went over that. Big picture, my biggest concern by far is nothing changes. Nothing changes about the approach. Nothing changes about the decision making. Nothing changes based on what we have seen over the last couple of years. So, in other words, Oli doesn't stick with a consistent lineup. Now, if injuries force his hand like they did a year ago, look, there's nothing you can do. But if they don't, and he is leaning more toward like platooning players and all that nonsense, which I'm so tired of in Major League Baseball, I'll be concerned. If the front office gets to the deadline, and this is a middling team, and they've got assets that other teams are calling about, and they say, you know what, we're not going to be aggressive, like they haven't been. Nothing changes there. If Jordan Walker doesn't really show that, we're having the same conversation about Jordan Walker. We're having the same conversation about the pitching staff. We're having the same conversation about Oli or Mo not making a change with their older starting staff, even though they got young guys in the minors pitching well. If nothing changes in that regard, that would leave me incredibly frustrated.
That would be my second biggest concern, is that the Cardinals have talked about the youth movement, have talked about developing, and then not fully committing, where Mo still has a middling Michaelis, Steven Matz, who can't stay in the rotation, but he keeps running it back with those guys rather than calling up the best starter in AAA and saying, you know what, I don't care. I don't care. If he can only pitch 4 innings, he's going to pitch 4. And next week it might be 5. And go with it. You're better off to do that than to just keep running it back with the same dudes.
Same tired group.
Like, to say what you're doing and then not actually do it is my concern from the front office.
We had a couple text messages rolling in here to the Air Comfort Service text line. We'll start off with Robbie in the Speedo, our Gauntlet winner today. He said, if we continue to be at the back end of the league in scoring with runners in scoring position by June 1st, then I'm seriously concerned. Clutch hitting has been our Achilles heel.
Yeah, put the ball in play. Quit striking out.
Yeah.
Quit damn striking out. Put the ball in play. Anything can happen.
Well, what adjustments are you making too? Like I was going through John Denton's videos and stuff on Twitter, and he's just reporting. This is nothing about John Denton, but he's reporting, hey, Nolan Gorman has shortened his swing. He's trying to cut down on the strikeouts. Okay, great. Knowing is half the battle, right? But if you get into the season and those adjustments don't work, and are you patient with them? You spend all this offseason working on all this stuff, and then do you fall back on bad habits? The strikeout rate doesn't change. So I think the same thing can be applied to individual players too. If nothing changes from individual players, there's no improvement. There's no strides being made. That is my biggest concern.
Well, I'm at the point too where I don't really care what I'm hearing out of spring training until you go out and play well effectively during the regular season. None of this matters. Like last year was Nolan Gorman's cutting down on his popcorn.
Right.
That was the big story surrounding, he's cutting down the popcorn. Well, what did that do?
Yeah.
Ultimately, it didn't really do anything. We get a text from a 618. My concern is the hitting. How would I be okay is if Gorman and Walker get off hot and not looking like a flashy 4A player.
Yeah, it's fair. It's incredibly fair. All right, there you go. Got our concerns out.
Yeah, no, because I don't know if we fixed it.
No, we didn't fix anything. We just talked
solution
about it,
based. Like I want to fix things.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I don't want to just. Yeah, I mean, it's still out in the atmosphere though. It's not fixed. We got to fix it. We in the fast lane.
We here in the fast lane.
We have to fix it. We have to fix this for the Cardinals.
That could be challenging, but you know what,
Anthony,
we're up for that challenge.
We can do anything.
I know a guy that's got a pretty good crow hop.
Yeah,
might throw some runners out because they'll be on base, but might throw them out at home.
I'm accurate. I'm telling you right now, I'm accurate.
I know you are.
May take 45 minutes to get there, but they'll get there straight.
It'll get there.
It will.
There you go.
All right. Will Oli stick to his guns and stick with a consistent lineup? He had mentioned this the other day that he's hoping to have more. Not even hoping. He just said, the game plan is to have a more consistent lineup. Guys show up. They know what positions they're playing, all that. Will Oli actually stick to that plan? That's next on 101 ESPN. your shot right now to score a pair of single-session tickets for the 2025 State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. It's the Arch Madness Tournament, and it's hitting the court March 6th through the 9th at Enterprise Center. All session and single-session tickets for Arch Madness are now on sale. Text in to win at 314-399-9646, or you can register to win now at 101ESPN.com or the 101 ESPN mobile app. Marsh has made reference several times today to having to do something after we put together a neighborhood tournament. Marsh wasn't allowed. He goes, okay, fine, I'll just go back to doing this. What is this? Put together a little neighborhood tournament, told Marsh he wasn't allowed to play, and now Marsh has to do something. What is it? Text in 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. And you have an opportunity to see go see the MVC tournament, which is at Enterprise Center. That tournament's awesome. I look forward to conference tournaments. All of them. They're fun.
Too.
They're a lot of fun.
Big Ten tourney.
Oh, this guy.
Good luck to you, kid.
Oh, my God.
You know what? Now that you got that loss out of the way, you guys
we got Wisconsin.
Fire up Illini.
We got Wisconsin and Duke the next couple of games.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Duke is like...
Really
Duke
good.
is...
We got him at home, though, Anthony.
Buzzsaw.
Stop shooting all them damn threes.
All right, so Oli Marmol a couple of days ago, and he did this last year too. And granted, there was a lot of injuries early on, so it was tough for him to stick with it. But let's say the injuries, because there's always going to be injuries, but the injuries are at a minimum. Do you guys feel as though that Oli will stick to his approach, which is he wants to use a more consistent lineup, and he wants to keep guys at certain positions? They want to eschew the platoons that have run rampant in Major League Baseball and in St. Louis, I feel like, for quite a while now. Yeah. Do you feel like he'll stick with it, even if a young guy is playing poorly?
I hope so. I think that was kind of...
hope. Do you think he'll do it?
Oh, you want me to call him and ask him if he's
Please do.
100% sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give him a call.
All right.
I hope so. I think for years they have lived by this motto, the more you can do, right? And we hear that the more you can do, you can play multiple positions. You can do, jack of all trades. That usually means master of none in some instances.
Very true.
So I think that they have kind of lived by that philosophy.
It's my high school sports career.
Such a donkey.
What he is a max. The jack of all trades. You can do anything. Do I do anything well, Coach? Well,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I think there is something about knowing. There's clarity in a situation of knowing exactly what you're going to be doing, how you go about that position, how you go about that job day in and day out. I think it makes life easier. I think it's easier when you know where you're batting in the lineup as opposed to hopping around and I'm batting second today, I'm batting seventh tomorrow. Like, I think as a player, we are creatures of habit. And so the more we can get comfortable with doing the same thing over and over and over again, it makes life easier. We were talking about the All-Star weekend. Part of the reason why the players were so pissed off is because you keep starting and stopping, and that ain't normal for us. Right. Like, let us do what we normally do, and we're okay. But when you start adding new things or doing different things, it makes it more difficult to do your job. And I think that that's any job you work at. If you go to work every day and you have a different task from what you had the day before or the week before, that's not in the scope of things that you're accustomed to doing or that you're not familiar with, it makes it difficult to be successful at your job. So I hope that they do have a stagnant lineup, that every single day they know where they're batting, minus a day off here or an injury there. Like, it didn't make our lives easier. The lineup game would be a lot easier. Hell,
less chaotic and less fun, but
yeah. Well,
Jamie, you and I have talked a lot about this, about the analytics, and analytics are information, right? Like you and I have been on the same side of like, look, it's not analytics' fault. It's information that's given. I will say this though. I do feel as though, and the Cardinals fall into this, they're not the only team, but the Cardinals really fall into this where they almost choose procedure over person. They almost choose, like, we're going to do platoons, we're going to do matchups, we're so heavy on this that you forget that what you're kind of telling certain players is you can't do this. You can't face righties. You can't face lefties. You can't bat in the seventh inning on a Tuesday if you don't have your Cheerios. It's procedure over trust of a player. And I hope they get away from that this year.
That can affect the athlete. I've told that story several times, the funny one about, don't be out there against Mario Lemieux.
Get off the ice.
Get out there.
I'm trying.
It took me like 2 years to have the confidence to play against that guy because I thought, I can't play against this guy. I better get the hell off the ice.
That makes sense.
So I look at like Nolan Gorman. Let's just use him for the first, year? Wasn't allowed to face a lefty.
Right.
So then, when he finally gets the chance to face, what do I do? Extra nerves.
Yeah.
I got to prove I can do this.
Right.
Maybe I can't. I whiffed again. They're right. I can't do this.
Yeah.
But you've been hitting lefties all through your entire life.
Right.
College, whatever the hell you've played.
The spreadsheet says you can't, so
exactly.
You can't. Yeah.
So, you got to be careful.
I'm not saying get completely away from it. I'm just saying stop looking for every little small edge, and you're in the margins, right? Like we got to look at every little thing and go big picture. Trust your people, trust your young guys, know that they're going to fail sometimes, but understand and support them that they're going to have a better approach the next time. Now, if you're 0 for 75 and you got 70 Ks, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Probably won't ever get to that point. If you've taken 19 shots, 13 of them are three-pointers, and you miss them all.
Anthony, I don't
get to the paint. You know what I mean?
Why you need to do that.
But let's trust our people over the procedure. We got to shoot three-pointers.
So, I agree with you, and I think that this year, in particular, for the Cardinals, is they almost have to take those menial analytics and just throw them away.
We're not worried about it.
I'm not worried about Jordan Walker facing a righty or Gorman facing a lefty.
Right.
Like, this is part of the growth pattern that you have to have for these players is just leave them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't get to be a great player by someone, taking away opportunity for you.
Right. Yeah.
And how are you ever going to be the dominant player that you're supposed to be if you're only allowed to play half the games?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a righty on the bump or this. It doesn't make any sense to me.
See this team? This team wears blue. You're no good against blue.
We've seen your analytics against blue teams.
Yeah, it's just not good. They're wearing the blue caps today. If they're wearing the red caps, it'd be a little different. AB said that's all sports right now, Stalt's all sports. You're right. Yeah, that's why I mentioned the three-pointers and stuff like that in basketball. Every team's trying to find Well, I did that too because Carey had a bit of a rant earlier, but I love that because you're absolutely right. Let's not overthink this.
Why is it that hard?
It's a contested try.
Why do you
haven't made one in 13 shots?
What are you doing, man?
You probably should have stopped at 6.
Hey, pump fake, go to the bucket, dish, easy layup. I don't know, man.
There's more plays in basketball.
I don't know.
So I'm with you, Carey. All right, we're going to bet the board. Now, Jamie, your streak ended last night.
Yeah.
He made his own pick?
I made all my picks from Mexico, Carey.
I didn't make my pick yesterday. Anthony did me a solid.
how'd you
want to
do?
make my pick? I won.
Yeah.
You should pick my pick today.
I gave full disclosure. Full disclosure. I gave Carey my pick because I've struggled, and I picked the one that I would have stuck Carey with. Spite loses again. Bet the board is next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. After the show, we'll have a instant replay show for us. So if you missed anything from any of the shows today, we'll have some content for you for 1 hour after the Fast Lane. If you missed anything from our show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. On Thursday, we will have the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game as the United States take on Canada. Pre-game starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Coming up next, though, we have Bet the Board. Jamie is in the lead. We'll see if we can catch up. That's coming your way next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Fast on 101 ESPN, time for Bet the Board with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marsh, you got the latest standings?
Yes, I do. Jamie still in the lead with 9 points. Anthony, you and Carey are tied at 5, and I have 4.
All right, Jamie Rivers.
Got 9?
Yeah, you're welcome. All right.
No, you're welcome.
As you guys... As you guys know... Love me some college basketball.
Yes, you do. You love basketball overall.
In particular, like the Florida Gulf Coast University basketball team. Big fan. Well, they're playing Jacksonville.
You're not even going like a top 25 game.
Top 25 in this.
You know what?
Who's in the lead?
You're in first place. You're in
Okay.
first place. Bottom line.
The total is 141.5. I'm going with the over on this one.
Yeah.
I think even these guys can get some buckets.
What do you mean by that?
I like watching them. They're hard workers, not necessarily the best team. What? Look, guys, that's slim pickings tonight, man.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Well, let's hear yours.
Is it on me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Give me the Central Michigan Chippewas.
Yeah.
Plus 4.5.
What do they got tonight, Ohio?
Ohio.
Bobcats going
Fire
down.
up chips.
Fire up chips, baby.
There you go.
Fire up chips. I like that. I like that a lot. March, give me the Purdue Boilermakers. They're playing at Michigan State. Michigan State with a gift win over the weekend.
It's so brutal.
And I think the Purdue's going to catch them off guard.
I was going to take Michigan State, too.
Were you?
I was.
I was going to take Illinois. They're plus 4 in Wisconsin. I figured, you know what? They're due.
The due factor.
Yeah, Purdue. What did I say? Plus 4 or 3.5?
3.5.
3.5. Purdue plus 3.5.
Is it 4 or is it 3.5?
It's 3.5.
It's 3.5.
It doesn't
I just
matter.
looked at it.
Well, it would be a
matter.
push or a...
Yeah, that's true. It'd be a loss anyway. Yeah. Yeah, Purdue plus 3.5.
Well, there's nothing on but college basketball.
Yes, sir.
And the golf, the TGL. Out of every single basketball game that could have been picked, Carey took my pick.
Are you serious? You're going to take
Dead
the chips?
serious. I actually had 2 because I thought you would take it, Anthony. I did not expect Carey to be the one to take my pick.
I am shocked, too.
So my second pick is the same game. I'm going with Fire Up Chips, Central Michigan, Ohio, under 153.5.
Fire up chips.
Fire up chips, baby.
I looked this up.
Just not too much.
Head to head, the last
hilarious.
3 matchups between these two teams, the under has hit. And the last matchup these two teams had was on the 4th of January, and it hit the under, 148.5. So give me the under in tonight's game for the Fire Up Chips.
You got me at 4.5, right?
4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, and Karen knows this is great because CMU in their last 3 they've covered, And then they covered against Ohio in the last time, so maybe things will change tonight.
Good teams win, great teams cover.
I can't believe you took my pick. Literally, how many basketball games are on tonight?
There's a bunch of them.
Probably 50.
Yeah.
Dude, we got a couple minutes. I got to bring this to the airwaves. So, my son Killian turned 7 yesterday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Killian!
Happy birthday! Yeah, so it was yesterday. We're looking. Chris and I were looking for like one more gift, and I wanted to get him a new baseball mitt because he's going to be starting up baseball in a month or so, like practices and stuff. And he's a lefty, so I can't just go to any store. So I went to. I won't say the store name.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Sponsor us first.
They may hear it and go, you know what? We should be a part of that.
Should be.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Maybe you should have kept that to yourself.
No. They got high quality stuff there, right? So
they got balls and vitamins, though?
They got balls and vitamins, Marsh. And one other thing that I was shocked.
Huge stores.
So I went and found a glove, found a baseball, youth baseball glove, left-handed. All right, cool. So I'm looking through. I was going to give him like a T-shirt or something too. So I was looking through what they had, and I'm going through clearance section. So I'm going through all this stuff, right? Lo and behold, like a youth medium, which is right around Killian says, one in the entire rack. A Central Michigan pullover. Dick's in St. Louis, Missouri.
Why would they have that?
One flying C on the chest. I go, I'm getting this.
Hard to believe they hadn't already sold it.
Right. I mean, I'm sure that they sold most of them, and this is the one left.
Last one on clearance.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. It was like, of course. Again, they sold all theirs. They're just getting rid of the one.
Killian will be proud to wear that.
I'm sure he will.
Absolutely.
It was like Blues, SLU, Mizzou, Cardinals, Central Michigan, Wait, what?
I just don't even know why I would be here.
I would be there. I was laughing. So I bought it.
That is
Wrapped
awesome.
it up for him. Yeah.
That is awesome.
All right. And thank you, everybody, for wishing my son a happy birthday in the Snake Pit. Appreciate you guys. Okay. So we've reached the end of the show here, gents. And by the way, should we tell give the answer to the trivia question?
Oh, yeah.
So earlier we were talking about how the NHL could have made up their own rules for the Four Nations tournament to allow other players when guys are injured to just join the team, right? Well, we said like it would be like us making up. We live in a neighborhood and we make up this whole game, but we say, Marsh, you know what? You can't play because you live on that side of the street. So Marsh said, fine, I'll just watch from the window. So the window was the correct answer to the trivia question. So hopefully whoever won those tickets will enjoy the Missouri Valley Conference, which comes to St. Louis March 6th through the 9th. All right, we'll wrap things up. Tell you what we learned. Criticisms, compliments, 3 stars of the day. Next on 101 ESPN. you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcasts brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Time to find out what everybody learned today. Carey, what'd you learn?
I learned about a monkey named Irv, but you can't call him Irving.
Well, his real name's Irving, but his friends call him Irving.
Once you're friends with him,
I don't know
you can call him Irv.
I don't know about this monkey.
Did you see any of Jamie's Instagram posts?
You haven't seen my monkey?
You can see Irv the monkey.
I'll show you my monkey.
I haven't seen.
I will.
You became friends with a monkey named Irv?
Yeah, Irv loved me.
Oh, man. I told you, the monkeys that I saw, the one that I saw.
Look, it's me and Irv.
Oh, okay.
It's a real monkey.
It is a real monkey.
He called him.
Did you just give him that name?
I just gave him the name. We were sitting there like, did you name the monkey? And he goes, yeah, Irv.
There you go. You're welcome.
Didn't see that.
All right, Marsh, what'd you learn today?
I learned that I'm a Cubs fan, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, according to Jamie, you are.
According to Jamie.
Yeah.
Fly that W.
Yeah.
No, I don't really want to.
Yeah.
No. But according to Jamie, I'm a Cubs fan.
Jamie, what'd you learn?
I learned today that Anthony Stalter likes to make alternate versions of songs.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a whole other version of On the Road Again.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those that might not know, we hear the same songs a lot during the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Like anything Frank Lita does. I like to make up different versions of those.
Our own jingles.
Yeah.
Window.
Yeah, Window World. I do a rendition of Window World that...
Well, I think it's Windows Direct.
Oh, Windows Direct. That's what it is. Yeah.
Window Nation, actually.
Window Nation for Carey.
Okay.
Yeah. Was Anthony.
What's it? Yeah, it was me. I had them. They're like, oh, they wanted to go in the mornings. I'm like,
That's not our jingle.
Yeah, and then last week we had the Willie Nelson song that was constantly playing. So I made my own Willie Nelson one. Had to do with the serial killer.
I mean, it's a good version, too.
Let's spit that out.
I thought Carey took Friday and Monday off just to clear his head. That's what he heard.
Get the hell out of here.
Didn't actually go to the NBA All-Star game.
Be available on Spotify, sir.
Yeah.
Doctor's couch. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I learned that Carey had an epic rant today. It could deliver an epic rant when it comes to his pride, his alum, the Illinois Fighting Illini. If you missed that, it was epic. It was incredible.
I love Illinois.
Yeah. All right, Marsh, what do you got for us?
Oh, yeah. So we had the conversation earlier in Advice with Former Athletes about maybe not having the best game and then bringing that home, or maybe having something happen at home and then, bringing it to the game. But typically, athletes don't like to hear that they had a bad game.
Yeah.
Even if, it's coming from a great place. They don't like to hear it. The 618 had a story for us. 618 says, I was in the concession line at a Billikens game and saw Isaac Bruce. Nervously, I told him, good game yesterday. He gave me a strange look and cautiously said, thanks. Went back to my seat and told my buddy. And he was like, he had one reception and dropped 3 passes.
Ouch.
What are you watching, brother?
He probably didn't watch it. He just said,
Fairness, he was nervous.
Yeah.
But,
Right. You don't know what to say.
What do you
to
say?
Right.
You stink it up, and somebody's like, good game, buddy.
You meet somebody who's famous, somebody who you watch on Sundays. You don't know how to break the ice. Hey, good game. It's like automatic almost.
Right.
Now, it is better than saying that was a tough game you had yesterday.
I don't know how you dropped that third one.
Hit you right in the hands.
Warner hit you right in the numbers.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious.
We got a text from the 618. Unbelievable Saliga, Marshy. 100 out of 100 couldn't be any better. I said thanks, and I'm starting to wonder.
There you go.
Starting to wonder now.
Not as good as it.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was. Interesting. We did get a text from a different 618 talking about what we talked about in Advice with Former Athletes. I had a psycho girlfriend in high school, and we got in a fight before a home football game. She started banging her head on the steering wheel of her car and put her arm across her chest. I put her arm across the chest to stop her, and she bit me in the arm hard enough to draw blood.
Jeez.
I played linebacker. I had 15 tackles, and know for a fact, I hurt a guy. Never known rage like that since.
I want to know the backstory.
Yeah.
Why is she banging her head off a steering wheel?
Oh, maybe he's over-exaggerated.
Yeah.
I don't think he is.
don't think so.
I think that's accurate.
Not that she bit him and drew blood. She was angry.
15 tackles, though. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a good
that is a
game.
lot.
It's a good game.
I wonder if she was
Although
watching.
in the 90s, if you don't have 15 tackles, are you really a linebacker?
Very true.
Is all they run?
Running
Man, option.
ISO.
Dude.
Power.
90s
ISO.
high school football, option. And when you're a strong safety, buck 40 soaking wet,
You go down.
and you have pitch man, it's bad.
You better go get that pitch, man. Everybody.
I still have nightmares,
Guys out
Jamie.
the back.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fill the alley, Jamie. It's not fun. These running backs are good.
They're
You gotta
strong.
get there
Should have
fast.
been a receiver.
And evasive.
You
You
gotta
saw
get there
me.
quickly.
Yeah.
Stalter on the fumble.
Yeah. And then they started to mix it up where they just have the tight end release. So you come flying up, thinking it's his option.
And he's gone.
Is that the damn tight end?
Where is he going?
What does he do?
This kid's flying up every single time on the option. What if we just release the tight end up the seam?
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. Third star of the day goes out to glass blowing.
Oh.
So Splashback Deuce during the Gauntlet said, today I learned that just tuning in and not hearing the whole sentence like hearing
Go ahead.
ass blowing instead of glass blowing.
Who invented that?
Wow.
Not sure.
I'm just wondering. All right, second star of the day.
Yeah. The feet moving.
Second star goes to taming raptors.
Yes, absolutely.
And playing first base.
And playing first base and saving the galaxy.
Most people can't do all those things.
Yeah, one man can do it all.
And going into the future and beating the aliens. I don't know if you've seen that movie. Tomorrow War.
And being on the same ship as everybody that's completely asleep and waking up one attractive girl so you can just talk to her.
Oh, yeah, that was
Did
tough.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, real moral dilemma. Unless you're Jamie. Jamie would have woke her up a year ago. A year prior to that. Jamie's like, to hell with this. Jamie be looking at the roster, right? He's like, yeah, there's one.
That's so true.
A week would go by. He's like, you know what? I already did it once. Why don't we do another?
Let my fingers slip.
Oh, no, you woke up too?
I didn't know it was a touchscreen.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, he kind of he needed some help with how that thing shook out. You know, I won't spoil anything if you haven't seen Passengers, but
It'd be Jamie and 20 women.
in the robot.
Why didn't you wake up any guys? Well, you know.
What are you saying? Women aren't as good as men? Come on. They're tremendous help.
All right, first star of the day, of course, goes to Carey's rant.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, man. Well, that was a lot of fun.
It's a good thing it's over.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll be back tomorrow.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
What do we think? I did see John Key.
Never know. Yeah, normally he walks by, he like kind of points, waves. Not today. He just darted.
Just walking by with all of our computer keys.
Yeah, these guys won't need these anymore. All right, we got an instant replay coming up from 6 to 7. Don't forget. AP just got you all fired. That's true. Yeah, no. Somebody will be in our place tomorrow. United States versus Canada. We do have that pregame.
Irv the monkeys in the chat.
Apparently Well, you guys had such a connection that he decided to join the Snake Pit.
Where's Hambone Williams at? We haven't seen him in a few
I
days.
miss you, Irv.
Hilarious. Don't forget, we do have the United States and Canada game for you on Thursday night. All right, that'll do it for us here in the Fast Lane. Thanks, everybody, listening, watching. For Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.